You guys cannot possibly know how close I came to wearing the bad cop hat tonight. I was dangerously close. It was dangerously close. Guys, welcome in, welcome in. Baron Coleman, Real Baron Podcast. If you have not subscribed, please do so now. Helps the channel. Like the video. That helps push it to the top of the algorithm. And go ahead and click the notifications while you're in here. Folks, we have a massive show. This has probably been one of my most anticipated shows that I've had in quite some time. I rarely anticipate a show as much as I've anticipated this one. This is one I've looked forward to since Sunday night. Wait a minute. What's today? Wednesday? Since Monday night. I've the bad cop hat would have been, I think, overkill, and I'll explain why as I go through it. And that may disappoint some of you. I hope it doesn't, because we're dealing with a unique blend of liars, narcissists, psychopaths, and that just covers our side. No, I'm just kidding. That covers the other side. That's the TPUSA side. That's the FedSlop side. But we're dealing with a unique blend here, and I want to jump into this because I have so much to cover tonight, and I do not want to hold you guys forever. So let me jump into the opening statement. I will jump in with both feet. I'm holding nothing back tonight. Absolutely nothing back, and that may disappoint some people. I can't help that. But at least I didn't wear the bad cop hat because I feel like that would have been overkill. So bear with me. We will open per usual and get right into the meat of tonight. There's a ton to cover. In October 1936, Dale Carnegie released a fairly short book about how to deal with people. The book is titled How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's been in print for almost 90 years. It's on the list of best-selling books of all time, ahead of staples of literature like The Great Gatsby, Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. A book doesn't land on that esteemed list without being perceived as hugely valuable. The book is a practical guide that title gives away its object. The book tells you how to be likable and get people on your side. I've read my copy numerous times. It's highlighted and underlined. I find it incredibly informative, and even if I don't always follow its good advice, I typically recognize it when I encounter its advice being followed in the wild. Section 5 of Part 4, which is page 211 in my copy, it's a quick 4-page section titled, Let the Other Person Save Face. The section ends with these important words, quote, even if we are right and the other person is definitely wrong, we only destroy ego by causing someone to lose face. The legendary French aviation pioneer and author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, I don't know how to pronounce the French name, wrote, I have no right to say or do anything that diminishes a man in his own eyes. What matters most is not what I think of him, but what he thinks of himself. Hurting a man in his dignity is a crime. A real leader will always let the other person save face, end quote. I raise this, of course, in light of one of the more shocking and important developments in the Charlie Kirk investigation. On Sunday night of this week, we learned that Erika Kirk had invited Candace Owens to sit down for an in-person meeting to discuss Candace's allegations related to the investigation. As we discussed during the last episode, the TPUSA and FedSlop pushers at first tried to ignore Candace's investigation. Then they called her stupid. Then they called her crazy. Then they called her evil. And then they started attacking her. TPUSA even tried embarrassing Candace by inviting her on their show, but the invitation went out after midnight and had to be accepted on the very same day. Worse, they attached unnecessary conditions on the proposed invitation and wouldn't give any details about how the appearance would be conducted. When none of those escalations worked to stop Candace from investigating Charlie Kirk's death, they sent Erika Kirk on a media tour in an attempt to regain control of the narrative. The media tour failed miserably. The ratings for Erika Kirk's big town hall on CBS were embarrassingly dreadful. I've looked them up. They're horrible. That's when Erika decided to fly to Nashville to meet Candace on Candace's turf. Erika and the COO of Turning Point met with Candace for 4.5 hours to ask and answer each other's questions. Candace went live yesterday on her regularly scheduled show to debrief with her audience about the meeting. Whether or not Candace has read Dale Carnegie's masterpiece on how to win friends and influence people, Candace executed section 5 of part 4 to a T. She let Erika save face. Viewers obviously view that decision differently. Some agree with it and understand why she did it. They understand she let Erika save face. Others don't agree with it. The ones who don't are frustrated she didn't attempt to tear Erika Kirk to shreds in her debrief. Rather than wanting to allow Erika to save face, this faction wants blood. And I get it. TPUSA has been hostile, dishonest, and frankly, disgusting in the way they've handled themselves since Charlie Kirk passed away on September 10th. They've lied. They've lied straight to our faces, and they've lied straight to our faces time and time again. They've been manipulative. They've hid behind the coattails of a grieving widow to avoid accountability for their hideous behavior. Reasonable minds can disagree on what they would have done if they were Candace Owens the day after her meeting with Erika Kirk. As for this show, I'm going to continue on the mission we've been on for the past 97 days. I've turned over every rock I can find. I've identified a number of leads that must be investigated before Tyler Robinson goes to trial. I've talked to experts. I've studied subjects I previously didn't know existed. And when I sense TPUSA, including their new CEO, Erika Kirk, are being misleading or being flat out dishonest, I'm going to identify those instances and call them on it, period. I understand the deep instinct a close personal friend of Charlie Kirk's would have to want to allow Erika Kirk to save face after traveling here to Nashville for an in-person meeting. But Charlie Kirk was not a close personal friend of mine. I've never met Erika Kirk, and she didn't call me. And I think she's carrying on the way TPUSA has carried on since September 10th. I think she's lying. And tonight we're going to talk about why I think that. We're going to run through a few clips from her debrief, from Candace's debrief with Erika Kirk, and I'll give you my take on that meeting. This isn't to say Candace was wrong or lying to you or whatever, but it is to say that I don't have any close personal ties to the situation. I'm a neutral observer. I also want to review a statement Frank Turek made recently. And I want to add that I've moved Frank Turek back onto the corkboard. And if you don't know what the corkboard is, the corkboards are the boards insane people have on their walls with the red twine and the cutout pictures all tied together. Frank Turek was on my corkboard right after the event at UVU. It was because the baseball hat and the signals. I mean, it started there, and I put him on the corkboard, and my opinion was he had to be involved. Then after a little while, I took him off the corkboard, meaning I thought he was no longer involved. Frank Turek is back on my corkboard. And every time he goes on a podcast, I connect him with more red twine, and his picture is starting to look like a crazy cat lady with a whole ball of twine wrapped around it and on top of it. So we'll talk about why I added him back onto the corkboard. He's back up there with Dan Flood and Mikey McCoy and everyone else who was in the SUV that day, and apparently half the federal government. We'll get to that. But first, we have to get to our $1,000 gift card giveaway. I want to get to that so that you guys can enjoy the fruits of some of the labor of this program. Now, I put some conditions. On the gift card giveaway. Namely, you have to prove it's you by opening a channel, or if you don't have a channel already, opening a channel and making a small edit. I'll tell you what that edit is in just a second. Oh no. It says only the first 500 will be processed. Oh well, we'll reward those who were first. We'll do unique authors, and we'll do advanced options of the word win, as we said. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. I don't want to limit people. So let me find a solution here. YouTube random. I should have seen that before, so I apologize. But I put conditions on this, and the conditions are: you don't have to be present to win. There's nothing like that. But here's what you have to do. You absolutely have to live in the United States, the 50 states, and the District of Columbia. You have to live in the United States. So that's number one. You have to You have to live in a state where it's legal. You have to live in a state where it's legal to receive one. And I'm trying to find the get this pulled up here. Keyword filter. You have to live in a state where it's legal, and you have to prove it's you. And you have to prove it's you. So here we go. Let me load it up here. It's picking right now. So it'll get there. It's going to load these comments here, and then it'll get there. So it's a random winner. So anyway, when I do that, here's what I'm going to tell you. Whoever wins, get in touch with me. I'll tell you how in a second. Get in touch with me. I'll prove it's you. You're going to prove you live in the United States because I'm going to make you fill out a W-9 because I'm giving you more than $1,000. I looked at the IRS code. If you win more than $600, you have to fill out a W-9. And I'm going to follow the law in this program because I'm a lawyer nerd, and that's what I do. And then I'll send you your Amazon gift card. So let this thing continue to load. And as it loads all the comments, we'll get there in just a second. So trust me, it's loading. I'll click back over there in just a second. Here's what I want to do. I want to set up a little bit about what tonight's going to look like. When I go through Candace Owens' debrief, I don't want anyone to walk away and say, hey, he's defending her, or hey, he's attacking her. You know what I'm doing? I'm conducting my channel the way I conduct it. I always conduct my channel the way I conduct it. I don't conduct the channel to please or displease anyone. I don't seek to attack other creators. I call the news how I see it. I don't seek to please other creators. I call the news how I see it. And I think you guys have seen that and expected it. Hey, this is going to take a little while to load all these comments, so I'm going to go ahead and start into the debrief, and then I will click back over to this. I'm going to pull it down I'm going to pull it down on a different screen here, so I'll be able to see it continue to roll. And then when it's done, and it selects somebody, I will pull it back up. How about that? So that way I can get into the show. We're not just killing time while this thing loads comments because it's loading a zillion of them. All right. Let me pull this up on the screen. I'm going to jump right into it. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to play a clip and I'm going to react. Some of the times my reaction will be on a 10 or 12 second clip. Sometimes it's going to take a little while to get through it. So just bear with me. And here we go. This is a little less than a minute clip. This is about the text messages and Erika Kirk's response.
They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that those when she heard me say that, they then went and looked. And yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Kolvet received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete a copy of what Dan Flood got the night before. And I said, no. If somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But
all right. So did you catch, stop typing win. I've already selected the comments and it's loading it into that thing. So stop hitting win. It's not there. If the sound's not connected, let me know. I've got, I had somebody wire in some new stuff in here tonight, and we might have to adjust some of the settings on it. But if there's for some reason the sound is disconnected, let me know. But stop commenting win because it's just spamming the chat. It's just spamming the chat. Here's what she said. They asked her, did you have a concrete copy? did you have a concrete copy of the Dan Flood text? Why do they want to know if she has a concrete copy? Here's why I think they wanted to know whether she had a concrete copy. Because they were lying about what it said. They were lying about what it said. I think they lied right to her face on this. When they questioned before about text messages, in other words, when Candace said, hey, I've got text messages here that says Charlie had to leave the pro-Israeli cause. And they were all like, no such text messages existed. She goes, oh, well, they're right here. And she released them. They wanted to know, are you going to burn us and release these after we lie to you? Or have you not seen them? I'm confident of that. Now, I can't prove it. But why would you ask? You've seen the text messages. Why are you asking her if she's seen the text messages or she's just heard about them? Because they changed the word. What they said is what she remembers Andrew Kolvet saying, or she remembers the TPUSA employee saying is, they are going to try to kill me. What Erika said at the meeting was the left was going to try to kill him. Well, that's not the same. Who refers to the left as they? We know who they is. It's anti-Semitic to say they. There's no other explanation of why you would ask. In fact, how about let's look at it together, Candace? Here's what it said. I have his phone right here. So I look at this and I say, already these guys are liars. These guys are already not telling the truth. Right out of the gate. We're not even 8 minutes into this episode, and they're already lying. I'm going to keep going. And again, perhaps I should have worn my bad cop hat. I love playing the bad cop when Candace is the good cop. I really do. This is just a 10-second clip, but it's probably the most important clip. Maybe. One of the more important clips of the entire episode. But it's only 10 seconds.
And then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning, because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things.
Do what? Do what? Oh, you couldn't hear that? Hold on. You didn't ask her to stop because you were learning things. Why did you switch? You stopped learning things? So Candace was honest initially? Candace was had good intel initially, but somehow her ability to get intel melted apart into little pieces, and all of a sudden she was trash and evil and harming people and attacking people and attacking your family, Erika? Are you kidding me? No. The reason you didn't ask her to stop is you didn't think she was going to figure it out. Bad cop. You didn't think she was going to figure it out. And as soon as she got close, all of a sudden we have to jump on a plane, fly to Nashville, sit down in the living room and lie to her face. We have to try to control this. It's the same Candace Owens that she's been for the last 10 years since she's been on the national scene. It's the same Candace Owens that's been investigating your husband's death for the last 3 months. If you were learning things on day 1, day 2, day 10, day 20, day 30, sit down and buckle your safety harness and be prepared to be educated further, young Erika. No, I don't buy that at all. I think she's lying again right to her face. Absolutely lying directly to her face. All right, I think I have a winner here. So let me share this real quick. And then we'll get back to, and then we will get back to, that, and then it picked one that didn't say when. So let me pick another one. There it is. Arizona Girl 80. Hey, you sound like you live in the United States. Arizona Girl 80. And if I was wrong and that first one did say when, I'll go back and look at the tape. I don't think it did. But this is very small print. If it's if I'm wrong and it did, then that person won. And Arizona Girl, you're the backup if that person, for whatever reason, doesn't claim it. But Arizona Girl, get in touch with me on my email, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. And email me and say, I am the winner in the subject line. I will confirm it's you. You and I will work it out, and I will confirm it's you. Once I confirm it's you, I'm going to send you the gift card. So Arizona Girl 80, work that out. Congratulations on behalf of everybody here. Arizona Girl 80, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm glad Arizona's in your name. Erika won. Erika is Arizona Girl 80. That was a funny comment, whoever said that. Well done, well done. All right. Hold on. It said the first one said win. The first one said win. Okay, Arizona Girl 80. It's not you then. I'll go back and look at it. The first one did say win. So whoever that was, get in touch with me. Arizona Girl, you'll be the backup if that person doesn't get in touch with me. But whoever the first one was, we'll go back and look at it again. I'll look at the tape. Get in touch with me. We'll get it right. I'm not very good at the giveaways. I want to go back to the thing here. All right. The next clip, the very next clip here. So I've already established what I feel like is less than honorable behavior on the part of Miss Kirk so far. But I'm going to get even more detailed right here. This is when it starts getting interesting, because now I think we have demonstrable lies. We have things, before it was just suspected lies. Now it's things that I think are demonstrable. Yeah, if you email me and say you're the winner, I'm blocking you. And if I find out who you are, I'll block you from the show forever. Unless you're the actual winner. Only those two people, and I'll figure out which one's the actual winner. And I apologize to Arizona Girl if the first one said win. And I apologize to the first one if they said win. Like I said, we'll get it done. We'll get it right. So I'm not going to dwell on it. All right, here is the next clip. This is what I think is the first time we can demonstrably point to something and say they're being dishonest. Here we go.
Surprised to learn. And this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess, to be clear, we were just wrong about that.
Candace, don't be so fast to say you were wrong. I don't know that you were wrong. I'm going to pull something up here, and I'm going to suggest maybe Erika was wrong. Once again, maybe Erika was wrong. I'm seeing some people saying that I'm seeing some people are saying that the sound is different. So this is the staff page for TPUSA Faith. It's still up right now. This is the staff page for TPUSA Faith. You see that? On the staff page, it says Rob McCoy. Rob McCoy has a passion for leading the intersection of government and the church. He's the senior pastor of Godspeed, former mayor of Thousand Oaks, and the co-founder of TPUSA Faith. The previous one is Charlie Kirk. And then the next one, the second person. So Charlie, if you open up the staff page, it opens to Charlie Kirk. The very next person is Rob McCoy. And then this John, I can't even pronounce his last name, and I'm not even going to try. And then it goes to Grant Allen and John Root. And so forgive Candace for thinking that appearing on the staff page, it's literally tpusafaith.com/staff. Excuse her for thinking that Rob McCoy might be on the staff, especially when it calls him the co-founder. So I don't understand why it is that we have to be so fast to believe everything Erika Kirk says. Why do we have to just accept everything Erika Kirk says? Oh, what have I done here? Have I lost it? I've got to get a producer. This is getting absurd. Yeah, I've lost it. So let me pull it back up. This won't be hard. It was Monday's episode. So give me just a second. This is a good explanation for why like small coffee shops go out of business. They try to grow faster than they than they have the staff to grow, and all of a sudden they can't get it worked out. All right, pulling it back up. Going to her live, going to E-Day in Nashville. Now we're back where we were. Okay. So now we've established that Rob McCoy's on the staff page. Now let's get into Superman bones. She talked about this a bit tonight, but I want to get into this from a different perspective than she talked about tonight. Here she is reading Andrew Kolvet's post about Charlie's titanium bones.
So impressed. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like,
I want to back that up because there's something there that is
surgeon, quote,
so telling.
His bone was so.
Look, right after she got done reading. So his bone was so healthy, the density was so great, the bullet was trapped by the spine, and we found the bullet just beneath the skin. Now, Erika's explanation was we didn't authorize him to say that. He just kind of went rogue when he said that. I don't know that that's true. Because what Candace is finding out today is, or what she reported today on her show, is that she has a source that says, no, there was actually no real bullet recovered, that it was a frangible round. Well, if you know about frangible rounds entering humans, oftentimes there's almost nothing recoverable. This is a problem. This right here is a real problem. And what it says to me is they were lying from the very beginning. They were lying from the very beginning. And we may be seeing the first cracks in the FedSlop team. I don't think for a second Andrew went and talked to the surgeon without anybody else from TPUSA knowing, without the COO or without Erika Kirk knowing, went and got a quote and put this up on his social media account. Not a chance. It did not happen. I refuse to believe it. It's not opinion. I just think it's fact. Now, if it turns out I'm wrong, whatever. But the bullet just beneath the skin, that's an odd thing to throw in there because at some point, Andrew, that's going to come out. So why would he put that in there unless he was confident it was accurate? And the only way he would be confident it was accurate is if someone, Erika Kirk or somebody close to her, had heard from the surgeon or Andrew had heard directly from the surgeon himself. But there's no chance he just made this up out of whole cloth, went on social media on his own, and put it up not knowing how it was going to work out. There's just no way. Oh, what's a frangible round? A frangible round is a round that sacrifices power. It sacrifices power for what's the way you say it? It disintegrates on impact. So it makes a hit and then it immediately breaks up so that it does not continue on. It's similar to how your car works, frankly. Your car is designed so that if you get in a head-on collision, the panels collapse, stuff falls off of it, it dissipates energy really quickly. That's the way your car is designed. You see this in racing all the time, in IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR. When a car hits a wall and it breaks apart and all the pieces fly off of it, that's dissipating energy. When it dissipates energy, the occupant experiences less trauma. It's the same thing with the bullet. But my point is, on the frangible round bit, Andrew Kolvet didn't make this up. Somebody told him this. Somebody told him this. Either the surgeon told him this and they're lying about the frangible round, or Erika Kirk or somebody at TPUSA told him this, that they had talked to the surgeon. I mean, it's just, it's inconceivable to me. Andrew just went off the reservation. He's a professional. He's worked in actual legitimate places. It is inconceivable to me. He just ran off the reservation and decided to come up with his own statement. Now, this was an interesting quote here. This is about Brian Harpole. Brian Harpole was the security guy. He was wearing a short sleeve blue shirt. He had the black bag over him. If you're watching the stage and Charlie's facing you, Brian Harpole was off to the left. Brian Harpole was off to the left. Here is what she says about Brian Harpole's current status.
Obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore.
She doesn't believe he works there anymore. She doesn't believe he works there anymore. Why? Who told you he doesn't work there? Did Erika tell you he doesn't work there? Because in images I saw from Washington, D.C., an individual who looked remarkably like Brian Harpole was with Erika Kirk. It looked like, I mean, I could be wrong, but it looked like somebody who looked like Brian Harpole was there in October or November protecting Erika Kirk. So at that point, it looked to me at that point like he still worked there, or he was still the chief contractor for TPUSA's security team. If he was fired, when? Why? Was there cause? Did he just decide to go somewhere else? Again, I think when there's an investigation like this, we're due answers, particularly when this guy has made multiple now public appearances on different podcasts. Especially when it looked like he might still have been protecting you after the date. I actually did a whole podcast on it when I discovered he was still protecting her, and it was titled like Erika Kirk is in grave danger or something, or Erika Kirk is in extreme danger. So I think that's interesting. We'll talk about Brian Harpole again in just a little bit, because there's another Brian Harpole mention in this podcast. Now, this next part is without a doubt the most important part. This is without a doubt the single most important part of this. I know I said that earlier, but I was wrong. This is the most important part. It has become, I'm going to pull this down so I can look you guys right in the eyes. It has become painfully obvious to me that people like Jack Posobiec, I think even there was a legal expert on Fox News or something, Jonathan Turley or one of those people. They were like, oh, well, I mean, even if a judge throws out 90% of this evidence, the evidence is so strong. It's so overwhelming. The evidence is so incredible. I've never seen evidence this strong on a murder case. What? We don't have video? We don't have eyewitness testimony? We have very tenuous evidence even connecting him to a firearm at all? We have him in 3 different outfits in the 3 hours before it. As of this morning, we have him playing Wordle. Wordle, the stupid New York Times crossword puzzle game. We have him playing Wordle 13 minutes before. And again, right afterwards, we have him sending memes or playing games with his friends, like immediately after the shooting. And you guys are going to tell me the evidence is absolutely bulletproof and overwhelming? We've been operating on this impression that apparently they must know more than we do. And I've had multiple people ask me, I've addressed it on 2 different occasions on this show. The first time, I was very insistent that Erika Kirk would not have more information than any of us have. Someone asked in a super comment, a super chat, someone asked, would Erika Kirk, because she's the widow, would she have information? I said, no, it'd be very unusual if they were sharing information with her. It might even be considered borderline immoral or unethical if they're sharing information with her at this stage of the investigation. But then when they kept coming out acting like she had to know something, I kind of backed off that a little bit. I said, hell, maybe that's not the rule in Utah. This isn't in federal court. It's in Utah state courts. Maybe they do things differently out there. It's a weird state, to be honest with you. They do a lot of weird stuff out there. And so just yesterday or Monday or Sunday, I don't remember which show, someone super chatted in again and said, hey, is it possible Erika Kirk, they're sharing stuff with her? And I kind of backed off and I said, it would be highly irregular, but I suppose it's not unheard of. It's possible she knows more. I was starting to yield on it because of how confident they were. What I didn't realize is, no, she's not confident. We're dealing with actual psychopaths. We're dealing with actually evil liars who are telling you they have evidence they don't have. How do I know they don't have it? Listen.
To the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively.
She's talking about the lawyer. Erika Kirk called her lawyer while they were together because I didn't realize I clipped this so tight. Candace asked, do you have evidence Tyler Robinson did this? Do you have something we don't have publicly? I won't tell people what it is, but just tell me what you have. Like, give me confidence that you have something. And then I'll go to my audience and I'll tell them, hey, they have something. I can't tell you what it is yet. But listen.
He said that they have nothing but the affidavit. Okay. So what you have, what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly, this whole non-expert problem with well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it, Tyler Robinson writing out everything and the clean alibi. That's what they have. And what he explained to me was that that's the affidavit stage. That's where it's at. And then what takes place now is the investigation is ongoing, right? So right now they're looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage. And that is why they might feel that, we're definitely gonna get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erika. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May.
They won't know until May what the investigators have uncovered. So it's possible. One of the reasons, there was a lot made about, Tyler Robinson didn't look like he was terrified. What a monster. When he was in court, he was smiling and laughing. Yeah, he may be talking to his lawyers who have information you don't have. And his lawyers may be saying, hey, Tyler, they don't have anything. It's really starting to look like you didn't do this. It's really starting to look like you played a very minor role. There's video of you all over town. They don't even have you on campus. They don't have you pulling the trigger. They don't have you taking the shot. They don't have you on the roof. I mean, we have no idea what they have. And this is a real problem for their entire position. For every one of the people at TPUSA, for all of the mainstream narrative people, this is a giant problem that they're facing. A giant problem. Because it exposes that they're lying to you. The only thing they have is the charging affidavit. They keep talking about how much evidence they have. You know what the charging document is not? You want me to let you in on a little legal secret? You know what the charging document is not? Does anyone want to take a guess? They tell you about all the evidence they have and how all the evidence points to Tyler Robinson, leading me to believe that Tyler Robinson might have done it. I mean, I look at this and I'm like, gosh, they might have evidence we don't have. You know what they don't have? Evidence. They don't have evidence. They don't have anything at all tying him to the crime. They don't have any sworn testimony. They have no evidence. What they have is an officer's impression based on the things he saw that day or the couple of days after. That's all he had. That's all they have. A single officer's impression. That means that he's more likely than not the person who did it in his estimation. That's all they have. That's the standard of that charging document. It's not evidence. The evidence will be put forth at a probable cause hearing. And even that is not necessarily admissible evidence. All right. Someone asked me why I wipe my nose so much. I have to run the heat in the winter. And my nose gets so dry. This may disgust you. My nose gets so dry, it actually bleeds when I run the heat. I hate heat. I always try to keep people to put it down. All right. So let me show you what I think is evidence that the investigation into Tyler Robinson is not going as planned. Again, this is the defense lawyer in me thinking about what she's saying here more than just news commentator me. So I want you to listen to this I want you to listen to what she says. This is just a 30-second clip, but after she says it, I want to tell you what the defense lawyer in me hears when I hear this.
People to shoot guns at a range. He knows guns. Okay. He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said that this person was dressed in black tactical gear and there was no recoil. That's devastating. That would be devastating to the prosecution. And yet investigators haven't reached out. Now they offered back, well, maybe they haven't reached out because they have an even clearer video and that's true. That's actually a good rebuttal. They're like, we don't even have to talk to this guy because the video will speak for itself. And we saw what we saw.
That's actually, I'm not blaming Candace's instinct here by saying, hey, that sounds like a good rebuttal. It's actually terrible rebuttal. That's actually a terrible rebuttal. We saw what that video looked like. We saw what the video looked like. Tyler Robinson or whoever is on that roof is going to look that small on that video. He's going to look that small. He's going to look like 4 atoms stacked on top of each other. And then he's going to run out over to the far edge away from the video. You're not going to be able to see what kind of gun he has. You're not going to be able to see the gunshot be fired. You know how I'm confident of this? You would have seen it already. They don't have it. They don't have it. And if that's all the prosecution puts on their case in chief, you know what the defense could do? The defense brings up this firearms expert who's now just a witness. They don't even have to ask him hypotheticals. I mean, he's a fact witness. He's not an expert witness, but he is expert qualifications, and you would probably, as the defense lawyer, run through all his qualifications. So you teach firearm training? Tell me about that. How long have you been doing that? Oh, so you're familiar with these types of rifles. Tell me about the types of rifles you shot. And tell me about how you recognize them from a distance. How can you tell the difference? Is it the profile? What is it you see? And when you were there that day, what did you see? When was the first time you noticed someone on the roof? And where did he go? He went from where to where? Okay. And what was he wearing? Oh, interesting. Tactical. And how do you know it's tactical gear? How do you know what tactical gear is? Oh, I was in the military. I did this. I do all this training. Oh, interesting. And you saw it. You were closer, obviously, than that camera way over there on the ROTC building on the other side of the thing. And you're looking with your own eyes. And you say there was no recoil? You're familiar with a Mauser 98, right? A World War I era rifle with a stock and no springs that's bolt loaded. You're familiar with that, right? Yeah, it feels like a cannon when you shoot it, doesn't it? And it kicks you backwards. That didn't happen? No. It's actually phenomenal evidence for Tyler Robinson. I am stunned that Tyler Robinson's defense team has not reached out to that guy. I think it's bordering on legal malpractice to have not reached out to that guy. That could be your best witness. That could be your best witness. So I don't want to hear about, hey, maybe they have better footage. If they have better footage, guess what? I'm still putting expert up. Because it's AI world. I don't know what's in there. I know what experts saw. I know what the experts saw. And I'm just telling you, Candace is dismissing this awfully quickly at Erika's insistence. Well, maybe they have better footage. Hey, they might have better footage. It's irrelevant to why that is so important. All right. I need to show, this is going to be a little bit longer clip. And it's going to necessitate a couple of things here. What we're going to set up here is Mikey McCoy's call log. We've been asking for this, and we finally have it. She got it from Erika Kirk. And once again, I feel like Candace good copped it a little bit. I'm not going to good cop it. I'm going to lose my freaking mind here in a minute. I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. I'm going to do my best to not say foul words. I'm going to do my best to not call people names. I'm going to leave all old cartoons out of it, including Barney Rubble and his crew. But I want to play this because I think it is an important setup to what we're about to talk about.
Happened because I don't think Blake has that great of a memory. Okay, take a listen.
So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realized there hasn't been another shot. So the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And truthfully, I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erika. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erika. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him.
All right. I want to pull up a clip from a show we did not terribly long ago. Let me see if I can find it here. Again, if I had a producer, it would plop right up on the screen. It would be just amazing. Everybody would go, wow, he's so fast. Look how prepared he is. But, you get what you get. All right, here is a clip from a show we did on December 4th. Here's a clip we did December 4th. And what is it called? There it is. Here we go.
It was just, it's, one of those moments that'll crystallize in your mind forever,
It'll crystallize in your mind forever. You know what that means? Your story's not going to change. That's what that means. That's literally what that means. Crystals don't change their shape. Crystals don't change their shape. It's one of those moments that'll crystallize in your mind forever. Therefore, Jack, everything I'm about to tell you is what happened, and my story will never change. Well, until Mikey needs an alibi, then it'll change. And then once I get caught lying in Mikey's alibi, then I'm going to sabotage Candace with a dishonest, underhanded leftist trick, pull the rug out from under her. But after that, we're all going to win some souls for Jesus. It's going to be nice. We're going to make heaven crowded. After we get done lying all the time. So he was 10 feet away. Pick it up, Mikey. Take it away.
Oh, you hear that?
Or Blake.
The pop, and it's not completely clear immediately what it is. But then I looked to my right and I saw immediately what it was, and I'll never forget it.
So he'll never forget it. It's crystallized in his mind. Tell me more about what happened immediately after it.
No. And was there a thought? I mean, obviously Charlie's got great security that I know got to him immediately. These guys are incredibly well trained. I know Dan, I know everybody, I know the whole team. And I'm sure they got him the medical attention immediately that he needed, got him where he, to higher medical facilities at the hospital. And,
Shot. We all immediately saw what had happened. You were correct. The security got him immediately, got him into the car immediately, got him out immediately. They could not have done their job on that front any better.
All right. He's about to tell us what he did. Now, remember in the clip we just watched a few minutes ago, we had a quivering lip. He was stopping and pausing and looking at Mikey. They were making phone calls together. Take it away, Blake.
And then at that point, it was, what do we do? And I know on my end, I think the first thing I did was I sent a message to, I opened Telegram and I went to our turning point thing and I said, lockdown turning point. I imagine they'd already seen it too, but I just said, lock it down. Something happened. Do it right ASAP.
Well, that's a new fact. That's a new fact. You left that fact out of your retelling of it when you're rehabbing Mikey. Well, that's a new fact. So you didn't, as you told us in the previous clip, you didn't turn and immediately run. I mean, I have video of you, Blake, at breakneck speed. I mean, cooking out of there. You remember when you hit that old gal with the jab step behind the stage? I have the video. Do you need me to play it? When did you send this thing? You tell.
And then I'll be honest, I called my mom because I didn't know.
Now wait a darn tootin' minute, young Blake. Where is the quivering lip? Where is the, he called Erika, I called my mom after he called, at the same time he called Erika. When did all this happen? Where is young Mikey? You were his alibi witness. You were the one that cleared his name. When Sam Parker put on Facebook, based Sam Parker, when based Sam Parker put on Facebook, or put on X rather, the video of Mikey looking horrifically suspicious, walking away like this. No. They hollow Blake Neff out. Gaslight Blake. Get Blake a light. Hey, Blake a light anyone. Roll him out. He'll make up any story. And he gets out there. Oh, no. See, they had this, they kind of funneled and you had to get out of there. It was crowded. And by the time I could figure out where I was, and then I look and I see Mikey and his lip is just a quivering. I had never seen him that way. He's normally such a bubbly guy, happy, smiley Mikey. It's crystallized in your mind, Blake. You just told me that. It's crystallized in your mind.
I think the first thing I did was I sent a message to, I opened Telegram and I went to our turning point thing and I said, lockdown turning point. I imagine they'd already seen it too, but I just said, lock it down. Something happened. Do it right ASAP. And then I'll be honest, I called my mom because I didn't know if there would be anyone else out there, if anything else would happen. So I just called my mom and said immediately, I can't say more, but Mom, Charlie got shot. I love you. I have to go. And then from there, I met up with some other members of the team. We got to the hospital within, I'd say, about 25 minutes or so.
You're just good. So here's my point. I don't have to play any more of this. He's now got two different stories story one, the story I just played you, was the day after Charlie Kirk was neutralized, September 11th of this year. He didn't mention Mikey's name once. There was no quivering lip. There was no bubbly Mikey. You know, Mikey's normally a bubbly guy. He's always happy. None of that. We didn't get a bubbly lip or a quivering lip. We didn't get a bubbly Mikey. We got nothing. We just got Blake sent a text on Telegram for some reason, to lock down TPUSA. I still don't quite understand that one. And then we got the rehab that Mikey needed. Mikey now all of a sudden needed an alibi for why he walked off immediately like this within 800 milliseconds, within 0.8 of a second. Now we roll old Blake out. Blake, you're full of well, you'll say anything. Here, you go tell them that you were there with Mikey the whole time and you met up with him and his lip was quivering and then he became steely-eyed General McCoy. You go tell them that. Now we're going to get yet another version of Mikey McCoy. And it just becomes obvious to me, these guys are just liars. They just do not tell the truth. Because here is allegedly the call log. This allegedly is the Mikey McCoy call log. Charlie Kirk is shot at 12:23. The minute later, and keep in mind, he was shot like late into 12:23. 1 minute later, he's on the phone with his wife, not Erika, his wife. They're on the phone for 2 minutes before he calls Erika. And he doesn't call Erika. He adds Erika to a 3-way call. You have to tell someone their husband just got killed. You're doing it on 3-way? You're doing it on 3-way? And you only talk to her for 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. And then you, for some reason, go back to talking to your wife for 2 minutes. And then you call Rob McCoy, your dad, and you talk to him for 2 minutes. And then you go back to talking to your wife for another 2 minutes. So in this 10 minutes that we were originally told was 90 seconds, this whole thing must have taken place in 90 seconds. That's what Blake Neff told us the first time. This whole thing must have taken place in 90 seconds. He immediately calls Erika. He immediately calls his dad. At some point, he calls his wife. This whole thing took place in 90 seconds. Well, no, it took place in 10 minutes. There was a 3-way phone call. And your original story was you weren't with him, that you met up with some members of the team later. And I'm just here to say, like, that is not a distinction that you would accidentally make, Blake. You wouldn't accidentally think all of this took place in 90 seconds and that you were standing right there with him if it took place over 10 minutes and involved multiple 3-way phone calls. I know how those work. You got to say, hold on a second. I need to add someone to the call. Hang on just a second. And then you go to your phone and you pull up the screen and you hit add call, and then you have to go through your contacts and find them, and then you have to click it, and then you have to let it ring, and then you have to hit merge call, and then you say, are you both there? Are you both there? Okay, yeah, you're both there. Hey, guess what happened? Your husband just got smoked. Yeah, bye. Okay, and then you got to hang up, and you got to say, okay, let me merge in my dad, do the whole thing again, and then you got to pick it up and say, hey, you know the guy I work for? Yeah, your congregant, allegedly, who's only been there 4 times in his life? Yeah, he just got smoked. Hey, okay, I got to go. And then you got to talk to your wife. It just doesn't add up. And it doesn't add up because they are lying. They are lying. I know she's trying to good cop this. I know she's allowing her good friend's grieving widow to save face. I get that. I am not. I am not. I don't believe they're being honest. Now, that's an opinion. I'm open to change. I'm not saying it's factual, what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it sure looks that way to me. And if they want to change my mind, I need to see some actual records. I don't need to see a printout on YouTube. I need to see the Verizon records. I don't even need to see his phone record. Like, I don't need to see his actual phone. I need to see the Verizon phone records or AT&T. Surely he's not on T-Mobile. I mean, they fly on Gulfstream 5s. They're not on T-Mobile. Come on, guys. What do you think, they got Cricket? No. These people are on Verizon. All right, next. We've got to get to the Egyptian planes. This is only a 15 or a 17-second clip here.
What do we fifth round debunk these planes? I also want to say to you that I feel very confident that I know why these planes have caused such panic. And it is because there is overwhelming evidence that these planes regularly fly in and out of Israel.
These planes regularly fly in and out of Israel, Candace says. I tend to agree with her. In fact, I agree with her so much. I said this on a podcast 14 days ago today, on December 3rd. What's the title of this one? TPUSA tries to savage. So I said this on a podcast on December 3rd. I got an email, and I have agreed to keep this person confidential. I'm in the same email about these Egyptian planes. I was watching a live stream. Oh, I see someone said he's there. Good. You're going to want to see this, Ian. I was watching one of Ian's live streams, and he's covering these Egyptian planes, and he realizes, hey, the times don't match up. Like, they say they're flying to Cairo, and then they turn the transponders off, or they lose contact for some reason, and then the times are all off. You're going to love this. So there's a little intro. When we fly in and out of Israel, well, Israel, you say? Well, I thought we were talking about Cairo. This is a part of a back and forth email. When we fly out in and out of Israel, the United States Air Force uses Cairo as their cover location for all sensitive ops, even regionally, like out of Qatar. So they file the flight plan to Cairo, turn off transponders, and then actually fly in and out of Nevatim Air Force Base. Nevatim, Nevatim Air Force Base. That is in Israel. If they turn off the ADS-B, then fly to Nevatim, then fly on to Cairo and turn the transponder back on in Egyptian airspace, flight tracking software will fill in the gaps without registering the Israel stop, and it will look like they are just on a direct flight to Cairo. For almost every sensitive cargo mission, the USAF uses Nevatim Air Force Base, which is always a blackout on comms. Okay, so I agree with Candace here. I agree with it so much, I reported it 2 weeks ago. I think she's 100% onto something here, and I look forward to her coverage of this issue. I want to see what else she has, because what I had was a pilot who used to do this. I had a pilot who used to do this, email and say, hey, here's how we did it. We would file a flight plan to Cairo. We would turn the transponder off, go to Nevatim Air Force Base, do whatever we needed to do there, whether it was drop off cargo, pick up people. We would fly back into Cairo airspace and then turn our transponder back on. Nobody would notice. And so that is confirmation that the reporting on this program has been pretty good. Confirmation has been pretty good. Now, I want to fast forward, and this one's going to take a little nuance here, because on the Charlie Kirk show, or not Charlie Kirk, on the Charlie Kirk show, they had Viva Frey and Blake Neff, who I don't know how Blake Neff can continue to work at TPUSA. I don't want him to get fired. I genuinely don't. But I think it's a problem. Like, I think he's a deeply dishonest individual. And it bothers me because I don't think he's just stupid. Tucker Carlson said he's one of the brightest people he's ever met. So if he's one of the brightest people that he's ever met, then his 3 different stories have to be calculated, you would think. But here's what they say. Real quickly, here's what they say about a certain video that they're going to start to cover.
People say it doesn't sound right, Well, there is a video that I want everybody to check out by Turkey Tom. I believe you've watched it now, Viva, where, this has been authenticated as somebody who was in the Discord chats with them and apparently spent time with them at this apartment. And he said 100% this is how they talked.
Okay. So to set this up, they're talking about the text messages not sounding believable. And they reference a Turkey Tom video that they're going to cover. Well, wouldn't you know it? We've covered that video on this program. Yes. The Candace show today covered a lot that we've covered over the last few months. We covered the Turkey Tom video on this program. Let me show you my impression of the Turkey Tom video. This is a show, if you guys have not seen this is a show from October 26th. For those of you who are new, you might want to go back and watch the whole Baron Coleman podcast archives. Shoot, I forgot to share it. Guys, I can't believe anyone watches this show. How on earth do you guys watch this show with all these mistakes? This is just total amateur hour. All right, just to set it up a little better. There's this video called Turkey Tom. Turkey Tom is a guy. He's a cool guy. There's nothing wrong with him, but he totally got played by a Fed. And this guy contacted him, and the whole video was a Fed playing Turkey Tom, trying to get out there and in front of this idea that these text messages weren't real. And the whole video, the whole Turkey Tom video is absolutely ludicrous. Here was my impression just 3 minutes into it. What are we? We're 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. I watched this, and here's the thing. I listened to the description of the video, and I thought, man, this has a lot of really good information in it. I need to watch this video. I get 3 minutes and 20 seconds in, and my notes over here say, okay, guaranteed Fed. What's next? That's what's in my notes. 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. He goes on to say Lance is crazy. At this point, Tyler's normal. All right, I don't have to go through the whole show. If you want to see why I say that Turkey Tom was talking to a Fed, go back and watch it. Go back and watch that episode. It's titled More Mikey McCoy Angles. I think it's number 8. It's October 26th. I dissect it, and nobody has ever watched that episode walked away thinking Turkey Tom was talking to anybody but a Fed. But apparently, consistent with Fed slopping and giving sloppy Fed jobs, this is what the Charlie Kirk show plans to cover. The Turkey Tom video that we so thoroughly debunked. It was disgustingly a Fed. And if you watch it, you will not have any other conclusion. Even the picture, guys, they took pictures of Lance Twig's journal. That ain't a friend. No friend of mine has ever gone into my journal and taken pictures, nor have I ever gone into a friend's journal and taken pictures. You know who takes pictures of journals? Feds. Feds take pictures of journals. They take pictures of journals after a high-profile killing. That's when they take pictures of journals. There's no people in any of these pictures. Like, if you're taking pictures at a friend's house and you're saying, hey, we're playing a little Magic the Gathering and then we're going to play some video, someone's going to be in the picture. Instead, all that's in the Turkey Tom thing, the supposed proof that this guy, all that's in there is a few Discord chats, which the feds would have had access to. So showing access to the Fed Discord after this murder is not evidence that it was one of the trans furries. That's not evidence it was one of them. It's not evidence it was one of the Magic the Gathering players. No. The fact that they were in the Discord chat is even more likely it's a Fed. The fact that they took pictures of the journal is even more likely a Fed. And the pictures are like from above. It's not like he grabbed his phone and had the journal out here and was just like taking pictures, which would be weird enough as it is. That would be weird enough. But it's like they stood up over the thing and they took the pictures like this. Just like the feds take pictures. But there's the Charlie Kirk show going, oh, yeah, I mean, it sounds right to me. You know, they have a friend who said they talked like this. They're sitting around like Cary Grant and Humphrey Bogart. I can't even believe. I refuse to believe that Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff are like a sub 65 IQ. I just can't believe it. But that's what it would require to watch the Turkey Tom video and go, yeah. 100% believe that, guys. Guys, I debunked that 3 months ago. Please put me on an episode with these people. I will bad cop them to death. They'll never recover. They'll never recover. All right. Oh, let's get back to it. Here is a clip where they're talking about, this is the same people. Someone said it's Viva Frei. I've heard Viva Frei. I know Frei is German for free. I get that. And Viva, I think, is Spanish for live. So live free. I don't know why he's mixing. Maybe he's got mixed heritage. One Spanish parent, one German parent. I don't know why he goes by that. I actually find him hugely entertaining. I think he's an excellent broadcaster. I've watched some of his stuff. I don't watch him regularly, but I have watched some of his stuff. And every time this guy does a show, it's top notch. It's phenomenal. He's a great broadcaster. He's also not stupid. But here is his explanation for the George Zinn showing up at the scene. And when I saw this, I thought, Viva, go one step further. Go one step further. Here's his explanation for George Zinn showing up at the scene and claiming credit.
The absence of total disclosure, the total lack of faith that anybody has, not just in the FBI per se, but in any state law enforcement. Nobody has any faith.
I think I went past it. Dadgummit, I swear, you people are going to think I have an IQ of 65.
Suspicion. You remember the old man, George Zinn, arrested for claiming to be the shooter the day of and then gets busted for CP on his phone. Like, in my mind, if I'm making a plausible theory here, George Zinn was probably on some Discord chat with a bunch of young perverts, and he's an old pervert, and he's getting off doing whatever they do on those chats. He knows what's going down. He shows up there and thinks he's going to be some useful decoy or distraction for Tyler Robinson because they know what's going down.
Did you catch that? He just outlined how people become patsies. He suggested that this thing might have started with a bunch of people looking at dirty pictures of kids. And seeing how they were looking at dirty pictures of kids, who sometimes shows up in those chats? Feds. That's who shows up in the chats of creeps and perverts looking at dirty pictures of kids. Feds. That is how they get patsies. Would you like to go to prison for having what Viva Frei called CP on your phone? Dirty pictures of kids? Or would you like to go to prison for an accomplice to a murder? It's your call. You're going to prison. You can either go in there with a bunch of people who hate people who abuse children and will tell them you abuse children, or you can go in there with a bunch of murderers acting as an accomplice to murder. It's your call. Which would you prefer? If you prefer the latter, then by all means, here's how we cooperate. Viva Fry is outlining one of the ways patsies are developed. And George Zinn, he's suggesting George Zinn was in on the operation. And the worst part is he doesn't sense the irony. He doesn't understand the irony of what he's saying, or he does, which would be even worse. Or he does. One of those is true. I don't mind being the bad cop. I don't mind being Candace's bad cop. She can be the good cop. She can let Erika save face. She can try to make friends with these people. I mean, she knows them personally. Like, she knows Andrew Kolvet. I understand why she doesn't want to savage him. I'm telling you right now, he is either a liar or he is covering for liars. Period. End of story. Andrew, you indicate you've watched this program. You're better than that. You're better than that. It's not who you are. It's not how you were raised. I know you are a regular Catholic churchgoer, and I know you're better than this. This isn't what you signed up for when you went to work there. And you can walk away. Blake, your life was almost destroyed when you made foolish decisions to participate in a childish, amateur group chat on a college admissions message board. And Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk didn't turn their back on you. They didn't sabotage you along with everybody else, and your life was saved. You were able to stay employed and employable. I don't think you signed up for this either. I've left jobs before because I thought the people I was working for were immoral or dishonest. More than once. I think you should do the same. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. I think you should come clean, get your conscience clean. Andrew, go to confession. Blake, I don't know what you are. Come clean. It's an easier life, to be honest. You'll sleep better. You won't have the stress. You're not going to make as much money at first. But the Lord will bless you. The Lord will bless you. Your life will be better in the long run. All right, I want to share one more clip. I have 3 points to make on this one clip. You might guess which clip it is.
48 writes, Candace, please look into the possibility that Charlie was electrocuted and that the hole in his neck was made by the currents passing through his necklace and out of his throat. The images of his charred hands are conclusive and compelling. Please, for the love of God, look into this. I did.
A couple of things here. One, I never commented on how the electricity flowed. I never commented on what caused the hole in his neck. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm not a ballistics expert. I'm not a Hollywood makeup artist. I raised the possibility that it looked like he was tensing up in a way that is totally inconsistent with the injury he allegedly had to his neck. And that one of the ways a body would tense up that way is through electrocution. So then I started looking, is there evidence for electrocution? I ran into Allie Top Files in my email. She had already identified several pictures. I started looking at them and I thought, I went and found some more pictures. We put them together, compared notes, and it looked pretty compelling to me. I thought it needed to be investigated. I still do. I've not changed my mind that it needs to be investigated. I'll continue playing in a second. But here's what I want to point out. The neck thing, there's a reason I didn't mention it, why I thought the neck wound was there. And I have theories. It could have been his necklace went up there. Could have been the electricity coming out. Could he have been shot by an external projectile? But I didn't mention it on purpose because when you're presenting something, you present the minimum you have to make your point, and then the burden is on the other side to shoot it down. Now, we're going to hear what she has to say, and I'll tell you my honest thoughts, my honest bad cop thoughts on what she's about to say.
Watch that video that Baron Coleman put together. First and foremost, I want to say Baron Coleman has done some incredible work, and I actually told him that we should get together and collaborate because I had watched a video of his where he was building on Camp Huachuca, and he made me notice some things. So then we started researching some other elements, and that's what we're going to move on to tomorrow. I can tell you definitively that's a weird camera angle. They do look charred in the photos that he showed, but I can tell you that his hands were not charred when he was buried. And so what you thought that like people were like, oh, this was like makeup and stuff. It was a very compelling theory. It just wasn't so. And I very much trust the person that told me that.
Yeah, I don't trust the person who told you that. And that's the difference. Because you know who that person is and you have a relationship with them. I don't know who that person is. If that person's name starts with an E and rhymes with Flerica, and the last name starts with a K and rhymes with Merc, I 100% don't trust anything that person told you. I don't trust Andrew Kolvet. I don't trust Blake Neff. I don't trust anybody on the security team. I don't trust Rob McCoy. I don't trust anybody who was at the hospital that night. I don't trust a single person who works at TPUSA. I don't trust anybody who works at the hospital. I don't trust anybody who works at the mortician's place. So, and Candace, unless the person who told you that's name is George Farmer, I don't trust them. Now, maybe you do, and maybe you're right. You might very well be right. It might have been bad camera angles, but it wasn't a bad camera angle. It was 3 bad camera angles. Because I have 3 different camera angles I relied on. All 3 of them looked like the hands were charred. 2 of them were on the stage, and 1 of them, which was 4 different pictures, was as he was being carried to the SUV. So 3 different cameras from 3 different angles at 2 different locations. All of the pictures I saw looked like his hands were pretty beat up. Pretty bad, pretty burnt. Now, if you shared with me and you said, Baron, listen, here's who told me this, I would not share that with anyone in the world. If it was a compelling, believable, honest person, I might change my mind. But I cannot change my mind from what I saw based on someone telling me that they heard from somebody they trust. Because the only people I know who saw him before he was buried, and I'm not confident necessarily he was buried, because they asked Erika Kirk, why aren't you releasing where he's buried? And she's like, can I just have one thing? I want to build a museum and put Charlie on display at the TPUSA headquarters. It's kind of what it sounded like to me. Maybe she said something else. Maybe the weird like 4-minute word salad she gave, she was actually saying something else. But I'm telling you, I don't buy it. Like, I'm not buying it based on this explanation. That's not me doubting Candace. Candace may very well trust someone who is lying to her. But I'm telling you right now, I've got multiple camera angles, and Candace, I have pictures you haven't seen. From a professional photographer. And I wouldn't be so quick to believe anything any of these people tell you. You can bad cop with me a little bit. It's okay. You can bad cop with me. I'll be here. I'll let you bad cop with me. I won't tell anyone you're bad copping behind the scenes. All right, continue, because now she gets onto the airplane.
But that said, the Baron Coleman, if you have not seen the episode where he builds on what I said about Camp Huachuca, that is worth a watch. He kind of suggests in that episode, which I want to shut down, he suggests that, I think he heavily suggests that it could have been the Veep on that, on the base, Vance on the base. And I did then research, because I was like, oh, wow, is he right? There's actually video of Vance. So it could not have been Vance on the base. Again,
I never suggested Vance was on the base. I suggested Vance was in Colorado Springs, perhaps. I suggested Vance might be at Colorado Springs. Someone flew under a Sam 000. Go back and watch the episode. I'm wearing a kind of a pinkish looking hoodie, mauve pink. I think it was called like Washed Crimson or something is the official title. Faded Crimson. 2, 3, 4 episodes ago. But go watch it. Someone flew on a Sam 000, which I explained, and Candace played that clip tonight where I explained it. Someone flew on a Sam 000 from Joint Base Andrews to Colorado Springs and then to Las Vegas. I made a point that very few people fly a Sam 000. Those people typically are the president or the vice president. That flight left Camp Springs or Joint Base Andrews at 1:30 p.m. Vance, as far as I know, I'm open to correction. Someone email me if I'm wrong. Tell me that he was on TV later in the day. As far as I know, the latest he was on TV was noon, which gave him an hour and a half to get over to Joint Base Andrews, which is like 10 minutes away. From there, somebody flew from Joint Base Andrews at 1:30 in the afternoon after Vance was off TV, as far as I know, on August 25, 2025, August 25th of this year, flew a Sam 000. It wasn't the President of the United States. And the Sam 000 typically is reserved for the President of the United States and the Vice President. Candace, when the plane landed in Colorado, the streets were shut down outside of Colorado Springs Airport. That doesn't typically happen for generals. In fact, I don't know that the streets have ever been shut down for a general. It might not have been J.D. Vance. But I didn't say he was at Fort Huachuca the day before Charlie Kirk was neutralized. I never said that. I never put him on any base. I said he was at Colorado Springs. That's a civilian airport, COS. He was not at AFF next door. And so it's possible I'm a poor communicator. I believe this, that there are times I'm a poor communicator. I'm not blaming Candace for getting this wrong. I think it's incumbent on the person conveying a message to make sure the people understood them. And if she thought that I was saying Vance was at Fort Huachuca, then I communicated poorly. And for that, I would like to clarify and correct the record. I never said that. In fact, I don't believe he was at Fort Huachuca on September 9th. That was a SAM 702 flight. That would not be the Vice President of the United States. That would be probably a cabinet secretary, potentially a very, very high-ranking general. Maybe a ranking member of Congress, but I doubt it. And so I wanted to say after this episode, but I didn't go on yesterday. I just want to say I do not change my opinion. A Sam 000 flight, in my opinion, is not Kash Patel. But that person went to Las Vegas where Kash Patel lives. And Kash Patel's been really shady up to and including shutting down the DNI and Joe Kent. Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent looking into this. So that's shady. That's very shady to me. And so, yeah, does she want to collaborate? She indicated she does, and I would love to, because I think she has sources I don't have. And I think I have research she doesn't have, or at least I have research that I've not explained very well that she may be misunderstanding that I have. So yeah, I would love to collaborate with her to help get to the bottom of what's going on this. I'm not married to the electrocution theory. I'm not married to the idea that J.D. Vance was the Sam 000. But I will say this. Nothing Erika Kirk or any TPUSA employee says is going to disabuse me of either notion. And so if those people are a source, then I continue on investigating. I have lots of other things. I'm going to have probably tomorrow Blake Bednar's on. Blake Bednar's has footage that is of such high quality. I will not tell you where he got it because I don't want to put the footage in jeopardy. but he has footage that is so high quality of the scene that day and up to the moment that it happened that we're going to see some things in that footage that other people can't see because your footage isn't as good. And it's going to call into question some of the people that were up there next to Charlie Kirk, some of the people that were hired by Charlie Kirk. It's going to be pretty wild. I've seen it. I was going to do it tonight, but then I thought going through this, the debrief of the debrief would take too long. And I didn't want to take too long. But I want to renew my call. I have a couple other things I want to answer here. Someone in the chat asked, how did I know he was playing Wordle? I'm going to answer that in a second. I've got a couple other things I want to cover, including the Frank Turek thing. That's going to be like a 30-second clip. But I want to, before I get off of this, I want to renew my call to Andrew Kolvet in particular. Dan Bongino walked away from the FBI today. Dan Bongino actually have should I pull it up? I have a clip of me predicting or telling you that my source told me Dan Bongino was going to get announced as the deputy director of the FBI the next day. And then he ended up being announced that night while I was on air. And I think the video has like 292 views. But it's there. And all the chat people are like, he just got announced. But Dan Bongino's walking away. Andrew, you can still walk away from this. You can walk away with your integrity and you can walk away with your soul. And it does matter. No paycheck is worth this. No paycheck is worth this. You don't have to do this. You can reach out for help. You can reach out to Candace. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to anyone you know and say, how do I get out of this situation? If you're worried about your safety, that can be taken care of. If you're worried about making a living, that can be taken care of. But you don't have to do this. I get a sense about people sometimes, Andrew. I really do. I get a sense about people. And I get a sense that you're a man of great integrity and that you're very conflicted about this. And I want you to know, Andrew, I pray for you every single day that you'll do the right thing here. Because I know you know. I know you know. All right, let me show you how I know that Tyler Robinson was playing Wordle shortly before. I was talking about Andrew Kolvet right there, the TPUSA spokesperson. This is a Washington Post piece on, it's on archive, but it's a Washington Post piece from today. This was brought to my attention on Twitter. I don't want to be mistaken about who I saw this on. I think it was the Village Crazy Lady. I think her name's Meg, something like that. She's a great source. She clipped this part out and brought attention to it. September 10th. This is the day Charlie Kirk is neutralized. Tyler Robinson allegedly drives north to Utah Valley University, and at 11:28, this is 13 minutes before he exits his car, supposedly, according to the FedSlop narrative, before he exits his car and starts making his way onto campus on something that will fundamentally change the United States of America, the greatest political assassination since John F. Kennedy, perhaps, maybe Robert Kennedy or Martin Luther King. We're talking huge, life-changing moment, not just for Tyler Robinson, but for all of us. And what is he doing, according to his friends, 13 minutes before he gets out of his car to make that fatal walk to campus with a rifle down his pants and his skinny jeans? Just in front of, you remember he walks between the camera and Phil Lyman's car and a Toyota RAV4. Remember that? He walks between a Toyota RAV4 and Phil Lyman's car. They're parked next to each other, and there's a Ring camera, and you see Tyler Robinson limping down the street. He was playing Wordle. And apparently he solved it in 3. He was pretty good that day. And at 12:23, so this is what, 32 minutes later, Charlie Kirk is taken down. And then the next morning, look at this. The next morning, 9 a.m., the whole world is looking for the guy who took down Charlie Kirk. And what is Tyler Robinson doing? He's sending another Wordle back to his buddy the next morning. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I do not buy for a second that Charlie Kirk is sitting around playing Wordle, goes and assassinates a high-profile political individual, and then takes off to Dairy Queen for a blizzard and a couple of chicken tendies. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. It's a great article. You should read the whole thing. It's in the Washington Post. It's good reporting. I just don't believe a lot of the stuff in it. I think it's selectively edited. Selectively edited. So that answers the question I saw somebody asking. I want to play this. This is Frank Turek getting back on my corkboard. He's been back on my corkboard, by the way. Every single person in the SUV with Charlie Kirk that day is back on the corkboard. But Frank Turek says this, and then we're going to do a little anatomy lesson after he says it, because it's so unbelievable. Every time this guy speaks, he looks more guilty and lower IQ.
And the reason I was with him that day is because this summer we spent I took 4 trips to Phoenix to help him get ready for this upcoming college tour. And we were together for a couple of days before this event. And he said, "Hey, Frank, why don't you just come with me to the event?"
I actually forgot I was starting at that clip, but here is where the first indication I get of how was Charlie occupied while the Fort Huachuca meeting was going on. That was a big, assuming the Fort Huachuca meeting's real, assuming Candace's source is correct, and apparently we're going to hear from that source tomorrow. Assuming that source is real, somebody had to occupy Charlie. How was he occupied? Well, it seems like he was occupied by Frank Turek, meaning Frank played a role. Do you think Charlie really needed Frank's help to get ready for the college campus tour to answer questions that Charlie Kirk's been answering for 7 years now? Is there anybody that thinks that? They're like, oh, Charlie, he must have just reached out and just been like, Frank, you got to help me, Frank. You just got to help me. Because if you don't help me, I'll be lost. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, Frank. You got to come in, Frank. They always admit Charlie's smarter than them, but then they always try to take credit for everything Charlie did. All right, here's the brainstem speak. You got to hear this.
Because it essentially went into his neck and hit probably his brainstem, and so he was gone already.
This is interesting. The bullet went into his neck and hit his brainstem. Well, let's look here at the anatomy of a human. This is going to look like a seahorse, but it's not. It's a picture of a brainstem, believe it or not. Can someone explain to me how that bullet got up to the brainstem? That bullet, you guys see my pointer here, right? That bullet entered his body. Hold on. That bullet enters his body right here where the picture ends up, where the picture's clipped at the bottom. It flies into his neck at a 9-degree downward slope. The brainstem is this seahorse-looking thing up here. It's even got arms and legs. That's the brainstem. I would like Frank Turek to tell me how a speeding bullet comes in from this way at this angle, flies in, makes contact with the neck, continues in about this area right in here, and then goes up the spine into the brainstem instantaneously. And don't forget, it's got to turn and go back down because the bullet itself has to lodge around the T1, which is actually below the image here. The bones that were broken, you see these little arm things right here? These are the vertebrae. That's the first vertebrae. So that's your C1 up here. Then you got C2, that was broken. C3, that was broken. C4, that was broken. C5, that was broken. This one down here you can barely see, this is C6. All of those were broken. Go look at a strangulation injury and tell me what bones are broken. Go look at a strangulation injury and tell me what bones are broken. Look up C2 break strangulation. Why were 5 of his vertebrae broken? How did it get up into his brainstem? It can't. The story doesn't add up. The story doesn't add up. Why? Because it didn't happen this way. He didn't eat a 30-06 from 142 years away, 142 yards away. That didn't happen. That's not what happened. They're lying to you. They've been lying to you. They are congenital liars. These people are not honest. They don't tell the truth. The truth is not in them. They're not honest people. They're just not honest people. Do I want to get into this? I have one more story I wanted to get to, and I just don't know if I have time. I don't know if I want to get into it. I want to show you this just because most of you haven't seen any of my old private stuff that's been marked. This will give you a little behind-the-scenes look of what you guys never get to see. This was the podcast way back in the day. Look at this. This is great. All right. I'll give up with the build. Here's the story. I was told Dan Bongino may be the next deputy director of the FBI. That's who I was told would be the next deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino. Now, I love it and I hate it. I love it because the liberals are going to go freaking nuts that yet another Fox News analyst, Fox News regular, becomes the deputy director. All right, we're not going to sit here and watch the whole thing, but look here. This has 229 views. Just to give you an idea how many people used to watch this program. But I still did it. I was a trooper. I was out there fighting the good fight, even if only 229 people watched. I was doing my best out there. That was a couple years ago, or that was a year ago? Yeah. I'm telling you, I was still fighting the good fight. I had much shorter hair. Much shorter hair at the time, but I was out there fighting a good fight. I'm going to save this for tomorrow. I had something that Stephen Gardner covered a couple of months ago before he totally changed, and I'm just going to save that and cover it tomorrow. We've been on here a long time tonight, and I want to get to some of these super chats. I want to answer some of your questions because this is actually my favorite part of the program. So let me get here, answer some of your questions. Can't wait for you and Candace to solve this case. Shove it at Valhalla. We're not shoving anything at Valhalla. I like him. I don't hold it against people if they don't like my coverage of a particular issue. Now, if they get ugly and they call me ugly names, then I'll hold it against them. But I don't know that he's done that. His arrogance when he talks about you is disgusting. I've seen him mention my name. I don't think it's arrogant. If you're talking about Gary at Paramount, that's different. He is not polite. But I've never heard Valhalla be anything but kind. So thank you for your donation, but I'm going to have to be a little selective because we're already an hour and 46 minutes into this. Baron, thank you for all you're doing to find out the truth of who murdered Charlie Kirk. Thank you to your family. May God bless you and your family. Did Mikey always carry a backpack? No, he didn't. I have lots of video of Mikey McCoy not carrying backpacks. So that was different on that day. Let's get the party going, people. Congratulations, Baron. Go Mass Crisis King. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, all of the above. Thank you, Tom. Very generous donation. Very, Very, very generous donation. I almost wore the bad cop hat today. I even have it printed out. I almost put it on, but I thought it was a little too on the nose. If I'm going to be the bad cop, I don't need to say, well, I didn't freak out as much as I thought I would. Congrats on Candace Collab and RESPECT. She gave you work. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to do some work with her. I think she's excellent. You know, let me say this. I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Well, I had this conversation with someone you know the other day. And my dog is apparently trying to have a conversation with me through my door. So ignore her. All right. Nick Fuentes had a kind of a generational rise here over the last 3 months. And he's been on all these major podcasts. And they've all kind of treated him the exact way. Nick, we're going to give you your say. Are you an anti-Semite? Do you hate every Jew? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And everybody's kind of handled him with kid gloves. They were, they've invited him on their program and they were polite to him. Worse things can be said about people. Candace, when she had him on, did not get that same memo. She was a little harsh with him. I don't have an opinion either way on which is right or wrong, whether you should be harsh with a guy like Nick Fuentes or whether you should handle him with kid gloves. I don't really interview people. I don't intend to have him or anyone else on my program to interview just for the sake of interviewing. If I bring him in to put some images up or talk me like I'm going to do with Blake probably tomorrow, to talk through some really high quality video footage he has that is going to draw attention to things that will blow your mind, by the way, will blow your mind tomorrow. It would have broken the internet tonight had we brought it up tonight, but I think tomorrow's the better timing. But Candace treated him totally differently. And I told a friend of mine, a friend of ours, a friend of this program, I told him, I said, listen, that's when I knew I really could trust her. Because everyone else was treating him the exact same way. She didn't, which means she's not in their club. That's what it means. She's not in their club. She's not in their club. Seagram green hoodie. Go make America great again. You talking about like Seagram's gin? It's kind of tennis ball green in real life. You know what? I'm not going to do it right now. I can do it next time. Next time I wear this, remind me to change the settings on the camera, and I'll show you probably a better representation of what the color is. I'll look orange, but it'll give you a better representation. I was playing with that earlier. Yesterday, Candace Owens mentioned Barron on her YouTube Live, then mentions him on her Instagram Live, and today she had his clip on her live. Exciting. Barron, don't forget about us little people. Adriana, I would never forget about you. You've been such a loyal commenter. If I ever go to New Jersey, I'm going to be like, do you know Adriana? Do you know Adriana? Do you know Adriana? You know, when you meet somebody and they like went to the University of Oklahoma and you'd be like, what years were you there? Like 96 to 99. Hey, did you know a guy named Steve Jones? Oh yeah, I knew everybody at a 60,000 person university. Sure. Remember, Candace only saw the Backview video through his phone on FaceTime. Ask her if he showed after the shot or if he just showed the shot to satisfy her, but hid what they're actually trying to hide. I would imagine he did. I don't think, speaking of terrible people that work at TPUSA, you can add Terrell Farnsworth to that. I don't trust those people. It's all opinion, right? I don't have facts. I can't tell you I've seen things that indicate. I have opinions, formed, educated opinions, and they're terrible people. Like, you don't act like that after your boss gets shot or dies, or whatever that means. I think Erika and Candace met in private with a lawyer, so Erika's lawyer could present the defamation case they've been building and warn Candace to redirect her accusations at other people. I don't think so. I disagree. Please don't fall for Candace's nonsense when it comes to Erika and TPUSA. I don't fall for anybody's nonsense. I mean, I can really genuinely like somebody and respect their work and disagree with them. I disagree. I don't even disagree with her. I think she knows. I mean, I don't know she knows, but hold on. What does she say? I don't know, but I know. How you like them apples, Candace? I don't know, but I know. I don't think, I mean, she caught him in enough lies over the time. She had a whole sheet of documented TPUSA lies. Erika's the head of TPUSA. You invite her into your living room. You think all of a sudden she's honest? I mean, come on. You don't take an organization of truly, deeply dishonest people and all of a sudden they go, well, now we're telling the truth. Now we're telling the truth. Yes, please collab. We don't know. No, but we know. Oh my gosh, I just said that. Thank you, Steph. Baron, if you meet up with Candace, make sure you let her talk too. Was that a backhand across my face? I felt it. I felt it. And look, I'm not even going to point out that you spelled her name wrong. I'm not going to do that to you. You're meant to be, Baron. See what I did? You are meant to be, Baron. See what I did? Adore you, brother. Love your show. Thank you. Oh, you're meant to be. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Please describe the McClintock pick you've seen, what you've not released. What were you said you were going to win waiting. Yeah, I am waiting. I'm trying to get in touch with a few people who can explain to me some physics about what I'm seeing. And I intend to describe the picture in great detail, vivid detail. The picture exists. It is air gapped in that safe right there. It also exists on a disk or a drive, which 7 people have access to. It's password protected, so they can't see it. But if anything happens to me, there's a person designated to get those 7 people the password so they can open it. So taking me out will not stop the picture from being seen. In fact, taking me out will ensure the picture is seen, and it doesn't look good. I think it could be the key to solving the case. Truthfully. It's bad. I don't know what Ron Bucks are. Addicted fan of Bucharest. Oh, Romanian. Addicted fan from Bucharest, Romania. Well, you know we're big in the Balkans. This gift is half for Tilly, half for the show. Well, Tilly was just asking about her gift a moment ago. She was barking at my door and scratching at it like she wanted to come in. I think she's mad that I'm in here and the door shut. Plus, much more substantial admiration, of course. Be safe, be blessed. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you. Happy Christmas. How many comments did you get on that thing? Let me look. I think it was like 12,000 or so. I'm just going to say, I don't want to pull it. I think it was around 12,000. I think it was around 12,000. And there was a little hiccup around who won, but I displayed both comments. I know one of them said win. If the other one said win first, that's who wins. If the first one didn't say win, because I'm telling you, when it was on my screen, I don't have my readers in here, and it was so small on my screen, I couldn't see it. Never more disappointed in my life after Candace meeting. Well, now you've lived a blessed life. You've lived a very blessed life if that's the most disappointed you've ever been. You must not have kids. There was not one good thing commented. Was she in tears? She did not ask a single question. She said she was going to. Please take it from here, Baron. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I learned a lot from what she said. I mean, I got some good information from what she said, namely that all they have is the affidavit. That was huge. That means they're extra lying. It's confirmation that they're totally full of doo-doo. Totally right on text messages. I asked if she has an actual copy of them. Reminds me of my ex wanting to know if I have real evidence before admitting anything. Caught liars. Yeah, that's precisely right, Rain Lab. Precisely right. Absolutely 100% right. So Candace is so blessed to have you, Baron, a lawyer on her side working with her. You're picking up on things she may not have, not to mention all your work thus far. I'm a tad worried for your safety. Now, don't worry about my safety, Pam. Nobody cares about me. I'm willing to work with a lot of people. And all I have right now is her saying she would like to work together. I too would like to work together. Why? Because I think I see things a little differently than she does, and she has access to better information, frankly, than I do. And I think together we could be dynamite. Really, really, really good. There are other people, though, who could be in that collaboration group who could really blow the socks off this thing if they wanted to. People want drama, are just trying to divide. It's normal for Baron and Candace to agree, disagree on points while having the same suspicion of FBI slop. That's correct. I don't agree with my wife on everything. Like multiple times a week, she'll say, "What are you talking about? That's nonsense." So, you know, why would I not disagree occasionally with someone on the other side of town who sees things differently and has different life experiences and knows different people, has different relationships, has access to different information? Of course, we're going to disagree sometimes. First step, get 100,000 subs. Check. Second step, get Candace to show your clip on her live. Check. Final step, get so close to the sun that it forces Erika Kirk to return to Middle Tennessee, but to you this time. Killing it, Baron. I don't know that I want to be on her radar. I don't know that I want to be on Erika Kirk's radar. A big congrats on amazing investigation skills and being featured on Candace and 100,000 subs. Keep going, Max. Christ is King. Mix the hats, by the way. Chris and Angela Moniz. Thank you, Chris and Angela. You guys have been phenomenal commenters for a lot of shows. I mean, back when I only had 20 supers, you guys were one of them. So this is the show we all wanted from Candace yesterday. Well, I'm glad I could help you out. Sometimes she needs a bad cop in her life. I'm assuming Candace isn't this naive, but if Erika is a glaring blind spot for Candace, then I don't know what to think about Candace at this point. Guys, read the book, would you? Read the book. It's not important that Candace burns the Erika Kirk bridge. I'm right here. I could put my bad cop hat on and I could get to work. It's not important that she humiliates Erika Kirk on a national stage. That's not going to advance the discussion. Erika Kirk wasn't technically lying. She was being disingenuous. No, she was lying. I think she lied about a few things. That's my opinion. My opinion, she lied about a few things. He doesn't work for TPUSA. He works for TPUSA Faith. That's kind of like a... Yeah. I see what you did there. And I accept it. I accept it. Why not hire one of your kiddos to be your producer? Trust me, I've tried. I sat in my 19-year-old's living room yesterday and begged her to come work for me. Good tax incentives, and these kids know know technology more than us, sad but true. Yeah, I begged her to come work for me. I said, honey, I need you. I can pay you more than the people that are paying you now. But you know how kids are. You know how they are. Whitney, Baron 1R, did you know there are no pics of Erika Kirk pregnant? I did not know that. She wanted to point out how pregnant she was when she asked about the planes. It's giving Macron vibes, not saying EK is a man. She doesn't look like a man. I can assure you that, particularly in her earlier days. Look, I'm not being rude here, but she looks like she's had a couple kids. I mean, she looks like a 36-year-old mom of two. I think she had them. But yeah, it's a little weird that there's no pic. But I mean, I guess there are pictures of my wife. My wife's been pregnant, 10 times. She's had 8 children. I know there are pictures somewhere, but I don't know if someone said in 45 minutes, produce a picture of your wife pregnant, if I could do it. I mean, I'd have to dig around. It's not something we take, whatever. I hear what you're saying. I've heard it. Love how your lawyer brain works and value your opinion. Thank you, Cat Kit. Super curious your take on our kids in public school not attending college like Candace keeps mentioning. Can you share your opinion? I think you go to college if you have a reason to. My oldest wants to be a nurse, so she has to go to nursing school. You can't be a nurse unless you go to nursing school. If you're going to college just to kill time because you don't know what you want to do in your life, I think you're better off doing something else. Start a business, go work for somebody, be an apprentice, shadow somebody, go to a technical school, just go get a job and try to work your way up through you're better off doing something else if you're going to go get a gender studies degree or, a European history degree and you have no intention of being a history teacher. I don't think that's going to solve anything for you. But if you want to be an accountant, you got to go to, if you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to college. If you want to be a doctor, you got to go to college. You want to be a nurse, you got to go to college. You want to be an engineer, you got to go to college, probably. And so there are reasons I would suggest a kid go, and there are reasons I would suggest a kid you don't need to go to college. You have no idea what you want to do. Why are you taking on debt and losing the opportunity cost of getting life experience and making some money? What else do we know about the coroner? Very little. Just the name. Just the name. Meryl Gerstenmeyer, $100. Remember the bullet casings that had dopey messages on them to implicate Robinson? I do. Remember how he texted about it? And he was like, my dearest love, doth thou remembereth when I would sitteth around thy living room, carving cute memes into the sides of bullet shell casings? Doth thou remember, my love? I do remember. Oh, thou loveth. Why didst thou do that? Well, thou wanted to send a message to thee and to thy and to thine. I made this point the first time I heard about it. Guys, if you're ever sitting around somebody who's engraving bullets, get the hell out of there. Run, leave, go. You're not around a stable person. You're around a total nutcase. You're around a psychopath. You need to call the law. You need to call medical intervention. That person is not trustworthy, cannot be trusted. Thank you for this unbelievably generous donation. Thank you. You guys are amazing, by the way. James Files said he used a frangible 22 round when he allegedly shot JFK behind the grassy knoll fence. That was the first thing that came to my mind, just saying. I had a very good friend of mine who's frankly terrifying, who carried a 22 mag that's everywhere he went with frangible rounds in it. I don't know why, but he said, if you're ever in a gunfight, this is the weapon you want. And he would know. He would know. He scared me. He was a scary guy. Love your work, Baron. I appear in Google Trends the same day in Israel and France, in quotes, of course. Same day I discussed Brigitte Macron with a friend. Should I be concerned? Just how accurate are Google Trends? Based on what you just said, no. Now, what was the timeline you used? What other countries did you check? Did you check multiple timelines? Did you check past years? Did you check, the same months in multiple years? Now, there are ways that it would become concerning, but based on what you just said, no, I wouldn't be remotely concerned. Especially if you have any kind of a common name, any kind at all. Look at Charlie Kirk's hand in the casket. Looked very orange. Orange makeup will cover, neutralize blue and purple on skin with burns. I have heard actually I've heard from two morticians. One emailed me confirming that the makeup looked like it was covering up damaged hands, which gave me a little additional confidence in my burn up hands approach. So that was one email I got. The other one was a mortician who said, do you want to talk to a mortician? Because I'll be happy to talk to you. And I probably will run that one down as well. I would rather talk to one in person that I can see face to face. But I don't just say things. If you have to say you have an airtight case when it's this obvious to the public, the evidence given is sloppy, you are likely bluffing to get people to look away. Yeah, of course. Robert Barnes, another big shot lawyer, who says the evidence is overwhelming. Oh, yeah, and that's funny. Barnes Law, he's on with Viva Fry, right? Aren't they on together? There's no faster way to lose credibility in my mind than to act like this evidence is overwhelming. No faster way whatsoever. I know nothing on photography, but looking at Charles McClintock's pictures with audience in it, look AI altered. I hope I'm wrong. Please confirm pictures are okay. I can't confirm that. I mean, I'm looking at the same pictures you are. I'm not a photography expert either. Oh, this is interesting. Did you know who doesn't appear on any TPUSA websites? Mikey McCoy. I have heard that. His wife, Elizabeth, was only added at the end of August. Check the Wayback Machine. Now, that I didn't know. That I will check out. I did find it interesting that Mikey wasn't on there. Baron! Oh, why are you yelling at me, toking lady? Why are you smoking? Or toking? You shouldn't. It's bad for your health. I'm going to argue the most important thing Candace said was Charlie's hands were not charred when he was buried. Is he buried? I thought we found out he isn't yet for some reason. There was a lot of hubbub last week or two that he wasn't buried. Erika Kirk was asked directly about where he is buried, and she didn't answer the question, and she seemed to suggest he's not yet buried and that she wants to bury him somewhere else at a memorial. That she just wants the one thing, and it was hard to tell, but it sounds like the one thing she wants is a memorial to her husband. So I don't know. Again, Candace may have better information than I have. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm not calling her wrong. The information I have available to me seems to suggest that he might not be buried. The information I have available to me seems to suggest his hands might be charred. That doesn't mean she's wrong, she's lying, she's a sucker, she's a dupe. It just means we see that differently. We're allowed to disagree. Did you hear the highway patrol pulled over a white RAV4? How has Candace not made the connection to the suspect jumping off the building? I did hear that. And I thought the same thing. Excuse me, Candace, here comes the bad cop. Yeah. What's that? Here comes the judge. Here comes the bad cop. Here comes the bad cop. Candace obtains so much crucial information by using a soft touch. I agree with that. Candace brought the info, and now Barron is making the case. Thanks so much to the both of you. Yeah, she's the honey. I'm the vinegar. She's definitely nicer than I am. There's no doubt about that. I know a few people that know us both. I think they would probably agree with that. Wouldn't he have had to scout it out for days before to figure out how he was going to do it? The text said he decided to do it within a week before he did it. They don't have any video of that. I would think he would have at least needed to make one visit to the facility, at least one visit to the facility to get up on the roof or at least near the roof to kind of get an bird's eye view just to confirm maybe anything he saw on Google Earth or Google Maps. He would need some kind of rangefinder or something to really dial in the distance, and then he'd have to go zero the rifle in to make sure. I mean, you only get one shot. It's not like you take a shot and you go, oh, I missed. I need to crank that back. I need to aim a foot higher. You don't get that option. So it's unbelievable to me that was the first time he climbed on that roof, and that's the first time he visited the campus. I refuse to believe that, whoever took the shot. I have no evidence that Tyler Robinson had ever been there. Now, maybe he had. Maybe he'd been there 10 times, but I don't see that yet, and no one's said that yet. I have heard, I don't know the veracity of the people saying this, but I have heard that there were reports that multiple people were on that roof the week leading up to the shooting. I have heard that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's true. Dan Bongino just said on a podcast that Israel is his greatest cause. He's leaving the FBI to be a Hasbro campaign agent, most likely to oppose Candace specifically. I don't know that. I mean, if he said that, that's weird. It'd be weird if I told you Spain was my greatest cause. It'd be weird if I told you Jordan was my greatest cause. It'd be weird if I told you, man, I'm eaten up with the pyramids, and the pharaohs, they were awesome. Egypt's my greatest cause. We've got to protect Egypt at all costs. It's a treasure, and I'm afraid the dadgum evil ISIS and Al Qaeda, they're going to try to blow up the pyramids. So I've got to dedicate my entire life to Egypt. I got to start wearing what does the Egyptian flag even look like? I don't even know. I'm going to get an Egyptian flag button. And I'm going to be like, and people are like, what's up with you in Egypt? I'll be like, dude, have you seen the pyramids? They are dope. They are so dope. That's a cool looking flag. Is that red? Yeah, red, white, and black with a big eagle on it. Dope. Definitely buying one of those on Amazon tonight. I mean, it'd be weird. But it's also weird if you leave the FBI and I got to go protect Israel. I must. I mean, it's like an MK Ultra. I must protect Israel. Must protect Israel at all costs. Must. Israel. It's weird. It's really weird. Your AV theory is onto something. DF shoving, Dan Flood shoving Charlie Kirk is key. Dan didn't catch him or hold him. Stay the course. He shoved him after the incident. Multiple revisions required to send this. Well, let me say this. I did notice a certain, let me set up my own timeline. Candace likes timelines. I like timelines. Everybody was willing to sit back and let Candace and Barron and Ian and Valhalla and everybody else look into this. Blake, Bednarz, Sam Parker, everybody's looking into this and nobody's saying a thing about it until Candace brings up the Fort Huachuca meeting. Then it's stop. You must stop. You remember that? Everything was fine until the Fort Huachuca meeting. And then all of a sudden, Erika gets you remember these eyes? She's got to stop. She has to stop. You remember that? She looked psycho, be honest with you. Like she looked unwell. But that was just stop. They didn't get on a plane until old Barron said, why do his hands look like that? Why is he clenching the microphone? A neurosurgeon told me if his spinal cord was injured by a gunshot, he would have dropped the microphone. Why did he clench it? Why did his ring break off of his finger, but stick to his pinky? Go watch that video. I don't know that I shared that. Why did his ring break off his ring finger, but stick to his pinky? And then it didn't drop until his hand released, and then the ring came down. That's interesting. The hell was going on? That seems to defy physics if he just got shot in the neck. If nothing's going on with the microphone, if his hands were pristine when he was buried, why is his ring stopping at his pinky? Why is it not continuing to fall? Does gravity not affect rings? Did Isaac Newton get it wrong? Where's old Einie when we need him? Albert! Albert! Your theory of relativity has a hole in it. I got a book on Albert Einstein over there somewhere. You should read it. Maybe it explains the lack of gravity when Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck. Or maybe there was something going on with the microphone that caused the ring to pause its gravitational descent towards the earth until his hand lets loose and then the ring falls with it. Ooh, that's weird, Barron. Why would that happen? We've got all this. This is coming down the road. It's coming down the road. So you're telling me all EK had to say was, oh, we didn't approve posting that on X. Oh, we didn't know he was doing that interview. Oh, it was actually a frangible bullet. Candace is way smarter than this. No, something isn't right. I think Candace is plenty smart. Look, get the information. Look, she told you she would tell you what they said. And she did. And she did. Now, maybe she will take that information, do some additional research, and maybe she herself will play a little bad cop. I didn't want to wait. I thought Erika Kirk was full of dog crap, and so I'm bringing you the heat. I'm going to answer this one. Isn't it a violation of due process by saying we have the affidavit just because the officer said it, it's true? I mean, that's how people are arrested, by affidavits. That's how you get a warrant. You go to the judge with an affidavit, and the judge reviews it and determines whether there's probable cause to arrest. That's just that is foundational due justice, due process. Excuse me. Congrats on making it in CO. Go Max Barron. Get the merch ordered, sir. Bad cop. Yeah, I'm working on it. Y'all wouldn't believe that I have another job, like an actual job. And it takes time out of my life. Every day I've got to go to work. I got to come home. Then I got to prepare for a show. And then I got to stay up late the night before to prepare for the next. Like, I got to do a show tomorrow. Would you know what I got to do when I get off the air? I got to prepare for that show because I got to work all day tomorrow. Then I got to prepare a little bit more after work before I come on here tomorrow night. So I have 2 full-time jobs right now. Let's just be honest. My mom and I love you. After the FBI searched the SUV, Charlie Kirk was brought to the hospital in. Frank Turek went to get his bag from the car and found Charlie's necklace laying on top of it. Weird. Yeah. Weird. You believe that story? Do you believe anything Frank Turek says? You know how much weight I put into that story? None. You know what the point of that story was, Ashlyn? The point of that story was that you don't ask about the necklace because the FBI surely would have noticed if something weird was happening with the necklace. It's not that the necklace was hidden in somebody's pocket before they carried him to the van or the SUV. It's not that they tore it off of him in the SUV and put it in somebody's pocket. It's not that they took it off of him in the hospital and put it in somebody's pocket. No. The FBI must have seen it because it was just laying right there. There's nothing suspicious at all about the necklace. You know what that story did for me? Made me zero in on that damn necklace. That's what it did. That told me right there, hey, guess what? That necklace probably had something to do with the reason Charlie Kirk's dead. Because otherwise, Frank Turek doesn't tell that story. Otherwise, nobody mentions that she was looking for the necklace. Well, we got to clear the necklace because it's pretty damn obvious the necklace is what's hit him in the neck. So we got to clear the necklace. Tell them the FBI saw the necklace. They had to have seen it. It was just laying right there on top of the bag in the FBI in the van, and they searched the SUV thoroughly. Oh, they just tore it apart, and they would have seen the necklace. So if there was any type of explosive residue, or if the necklace had broken in any way, they would have seen it. They would have logged it as evidence. They would have recognized. Of course, they would have. So go ahead and tell him. I don't believe a word he says. I think he's a fraud. I really do. And I know that there's like some big Frank Turek stands out there. And I'm sorry if you don't like me anymore. But sorry, Frank. I don't believe anything you say anymore. Sorry. Let's see here. In my opinion, the feds at all want Tyler to be found not guilty. Then Tyler walks and gets a nice DuPont check for his inconvenience of prison for 8 months. Then they say we tried, case closed. I don't buy it. I will say I got a cool email though about some public ledger money being moved around. I got to run all that down. But apparently there was a whole lot of activity in the days leading up to the killing. Absolutely no activity for a brief period of time around the killing, and then a whole bunch of activity right after the killing. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm going to run it down. I'm going to look at it. I see the wiggle. What is the meaning of the lily behind you? That's not a lily. That's a fleur-de-lis. That's a Catholic symbol. So, thank you, Fuzzy Logic, for that, the L bucks. But yeah, it's a fleur-de-lis. It looks like this. It's beautiful. And its true purpose is to make sure those books don't fall over. If you ever see me without a shirt, you'll see another one. Let's see here. We're rolling. Here we go. My husband said, Ed, what you did, asking if she had a copy of the message to Dan Flood. They conceded bare minimum. It was a mining expedition to see what she had proof of. I agree. That was a dirty trick they pulled. That was a dirty trick. Can't rely on Tyler's defense. They were chosen by prosecution. Well, they weren't chosen by the prosecution. They were chosen by the state. All appointed attorneys are chosen by the state. That's why appointed attorneys kind of get this reputation for not really working for the defendant. I will say this. I have personal experience, not that I've ever had an appointed attorney, but I have personal experience in that I have very good friends who have served as appointed counsel on criminal defense cases, very high profile criminal defense cases, up to and including the death penalty, including a close friend right now who is a federal public defender, and he's a phenomenal lawyer. He's gotten people out of trouble you wouldn't believe. So I don't know that alone is a reason not to trust them. A top reputable defense firm tried to talk to Tyler, offer their services at no charge. They were blocked from even being able to talk to Tyler. Yeah, that doesn't look good, to be honest with you. But I'm not gonna try to invade the envelope of the defense team and speculate as to what their methods are. I hope they're working for them. I lose faith that they're working for them when I hear things like these obvious witnesses haven't been contacted by the defense team? Like, why are you not contacting them and knocking down their story while it's fresh? If Cash was responsible for orchestrating a cover-up, I think we can rest assured that this will be uncovered. You called him stupid? If you're not, that was incidentally hilarious. I'll tell you, I watched that stupid interview with him and his girlfriend. Golly, I cannot imagine what Vladimir. I guarantee you, Vladimir Putin watched that. The Xi of China watched that. I cannot imagine what they thought of us at that point. I guarantee you, Vladimir Putin immediately, while he's watching that, is sending a text to his entire cabinet. Any one of you goes on stupid podcasts like Kash Patel went on, you will be removed from Earth. Your bowels will be disseminated to your children. We look so weak. Oh my gosh, we looked so weak during that whole interview. He's sitting there like a rube. Ah. Why is Candace Owens calling this guy Erika's lawyer? Would that not be a prosecutor or DA that is against Tyler's defense counsel? Would a state attorney be working that personally with the victim? No, I think Erika Kirk hired her own counsel to manage the communication with the team. I think that's what she's talking about. Those aren't call logs. Would show something. Yeah, agreed. I made that point during the program. I want to see the Verizon notes. Call logs do not show calls within calls. That's interesting. I did not know that. Only original call. Those are depictions of what Mikey told them to compose and show Candace deception. Now, that's an interesting point I didn't know. Is it possible the phone itself? Is it possible the phone itself shows when three-way calls are made? I don't make them that often. I'll make them occasionally. Maybe I have one on here. Holy mackerel. When was the last time I made one of these? Yeah, I don't think it does show. I know I made one in the last 3 or 4 days. Yeah, that's interesting. I made one at work, and it's not showing up in here. So you're right. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe he didn't call any of those people. Maybe he only called his wife. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was on the phone when it started. That's a great point. What a great comment that was. So I think Candace should tell us what she saw. That's not being ugly. Like, what did you see? Did you see a printout? Did you see a Verizon bill? How did you know he made three-way calls? I think those are legitimate questions. And surely she'll answer those. I'm not trying to be funny, but if you move forward with honesty, you may get all 2 to 5 million people who wanted truth, yet feel they're not getting it now across the street. Keep going, stay glued on truth. Go Max. Look, I'm going to be me. I will always be me. You will always get this. Other people can be them. I have a great deal of respect for all the people that I talk about on this program, including Candace, including Ian, including Valhalla, including Ryan, including Blake. I have tremendous respect for all these people that are doing original reporting. Even like someone asked me what I thought about Jimmy Dore the other day. Jimmy Dore does such a valuable service. Dee does this. Coach Colin does this. They do such a valuable service by condensing a multiple hour or long thing and showing you like a 20-minute version of it that you can then they give you their commentary on it on, hey, this was big. Did you miss this? What a valuable service that is. So even if they're not doing original reporting, they're still contributing. So I have tremendous respect for all these people. No excuses for Candace. Justin Strife was at the meeting. Justin Strife was first call after CK was shot. Justin Strife, first call after CK was shot was Pierre Dupont. I don't know that. Candace hasn't mentioned it yet. These are millionaires. None can be trusted. Now, how do you know that, Cleo? I'm taking a picture of that comment in case that turns out to be true. But how do you know that? Because if so, that's problematic that he was sitting in the in the living room with them or wherever they were. Mikey's call log from where? Phone provider, WhatsApp, Signal. Signal keeps no records as per Grok. Signal can be set to keep no records, but let's see here. What about Mikey McCoy's military brother calling him before the shot? Mikey three-ways everybody, and then his brother calls to see how it went. I don't think that was his brother. I think Candace did correct that at the end of her program yesterday. There was another guy named Danny who allegedly is another TPUSA employee, but it's weird that he called right before all the chaos, then all the phone calls, and then right after the chaos. Like after, I mean, to be honest, even if it's a TPUSA employee, it's a little weird, and I'd like to know who that is. And she also said there was another call that she didn't think was related. Well, maybe it was. If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Thank you, Judge Judy and Light Giver, for bringing that to us. Thank you, JM Dog Patriot. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Let's see. Rolling. Faith over fear. Mikey didn't know how bad Charlie was. He walked away before Charlie hit the ground and never stopped walking. Walked past the SUV before they got to Charlie in the SUV. Had no details to give Erika. That's correct. And was still detailless for the next 10 minutes while he talked to everyone. See, it's my belief that there were at least 2 or 3 separate attacks on Charlie simultaneously. The idea was there wasn't a replay of Butler where somebody stood up and walked away. There wasn't a replay of 1981, March 23rd of 1981, where Ronald Reagan got up and walked away. It's because when you let one person who's generally a psychopath take the shot, sometimes they miss. But if you allow someone to take a shot or make a distraction at the same time that there's this happen, at the same time that there's this happen, and then you get them under the table and you finish them off, or you get them in the car and you finish them off, now we know for sure. I went back and watched that video in real time. I hadn't done it in a while. It is shocking how fast they move him from the spot where he fell to the SUV. It is shocking. And they just pick him up by his clothes. His neck's just, I'm telling you guys, his neck is just dangling the whole way to the car. They didn't care about him. Not one of them. The picture changed my mind. You don't treat people like that. Even if you think he had a fatal neck wound, you don't treat people like that. I think there were multiple guaranteed ways that they knew he was not walking out of there. Billy Brandy said coworker lives next door to a surgeon at Charlie Kirk's hospital. He had surgery scheduled for that day, but was told not to come in or he would be trapped there for hours. Ooh, did they really say that? How did I miss that? I watched that show. I'm going to have to go back. I admittedly might have been working while I was watching. Girls, forgive me. I think I even commented on that show. But I will have to go back and watch that. Baron, God bless you. I know the Lord sent you to do what you're doing. Please be careful. Christ is king. Christ is king. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Mississippi girl. Baron spoke to a guy I know that is a prop master in Hollywood. I will email you his info. What do you want me to put in the subject line? Hollywood prop master, Mississippi girl. Hollywood prop master. That would be sufficient. All caps, please. I will check it out. I'm a little behind on emails, admittedly. As the show picks up and I get more emails, I get a little more behind each time. Did we get any clarification? That's why I'm trying to hire somebody. That was the first thing I told my daughter. She said, what would I be doing? I said, you're going to have to read all my emails. You're going to have to get rid of every email where somebody says, hey, watch this and sends a link. Just get rid of it. Because that's what I do. Every time somebody attaches a video and says, here, watch this, get rid of that. Now, if somebody summarizes a video nicely and points to a particular timestamp, save that, put it aside. If somebody gives you what looks like good information, save that, put it aside. If somebody sends you a Grok or ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity summary of some theory they have, delete that. So I went through all these things and I said, hey, I'm going to give you my personal email address. I don't know how that's gotten leaked out, but if somebody uses that, block them from every service we have. You email me at realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. That's where you email. Did we get any clarification from Erika about why she mocked the planes? Wasn't the slightest bit concerned for her safety and why she gave the ridiculous answer to Barry. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. All we got was that dishonest thing that people do where they answer the question that wasn't asked. And that's ridiculous. It's dishonest. But it's very consistent with the dishonesty that TPUSA, it is like premier example of the dishonesty TPUSA has exuded since the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They could have avoided all this. And frankly, it might be too late, but there was a period of time after like 30 or 40 days when they could have righted the ship. Andrew, you let them down. You can still get out of this. But they could have righted the ship by just being honest and releasing everything. Here's all we have. Like, imagine after day 30 or 40, they just said, hey, we're not going to learn anything new till May. All we have is the affidavit. They've arrested a guy they say is it. Let's just sit back and wait. Let's just see what happens. You know how much credibility they would have gotten? Instead, it was like, oh, the evidence is overwhelming. You should see just mountains of evidence. If that evidence fell down, we would all be buried like Pompeii. Mikey McCoy call logs. Candace redacted Danny as the TPUSA member, not McCoy. Just wanted you. Yep, that's right. That's correct. Viva Fry is pronounced Viva Fry. Yeah, I did change that. Someone in the other chat told me that. But I wish he wasn't so damned entertaining because I really want to dislike him right now for the silliness he put on that show. But I genuinely think he's a very talented broadcaster. And I, as a fellow very talented broadcaster, I tend to give, I shouldn't, but I tend to give people a pass when they're talented. It's total, like, shouldn't happen. It's wrong. It's bad, but I do it. Dave Smith, part of the problem. I love part of the problem, by the way. Dave Smith uses Natal DeChico from Gas Digital as his producer. She produces multiple podcasts via Zoom. Reach out to Gas Digital. They have a dozen producers. I actually was given a name of a guy I went to high school with today. I was given a name today of a guy I went to high school with who has produced for people you watch regularly based on the comments that I get. And so I'm going to run that down first. I'm going to run that down first and see. But I mean, I would rather do somebody I've looked in the eye and I've walked down hallways with. I grew up around here, so I know people here. So it's not like I'm flying blind. Like I've got a network of people around here. I don't even know you, but I got proud like it was my dad's channel when Candace mentioned you today. Congrats. Found you through Ian and you become one of my favorite channels. Thank you, Braziliana. Thank you. That's you know what's funny? This is probably even more than it used to be. I was a big talk radio fan from childhood. Like I was the only one I knew in college that listened to talk radio. Everybody else listened to like music, and I did too. But every night I always knew what was going on talk radio. I got married. That's all. I stopped listening to music almost entirely. Just listened to talk radio. And when you would meet these people, and you'd heard their voice, and then their voice sounded the same, it like sent a jolt through your body. You're like, oh my gosh, that is the voice I hear for 2 or 3 hours every single day, 5 days a week. And yeah, so I get it. Like I've been there. I've had that where you like sort of feel like you know somebody just because you listen to them every day. Erika said there's no text. Way after Candace had pointed out the text. Wouldn't that be the first thing Erika did? Check every message app on his phone. Every female knows what I'm talking about. Guys, I think she's a liar. I think she's a liar. I think she's a dishonest person. She runs an organization full of dishonest people. They have been dishonest now for 97 days. Why are we surprised that she was dishonest with Candace in Nashville? Why does that surprise anyone? I think the question, I think the what you're feeling is, why did Candace buy it? And I'm not sure she did. I think Candace probably agreed, I will ask you questions. I will tell my audience what you said. And if that's the case, she did it. Now, if she bought some of that stuff, now we've got a problem on our hands. I don't think so. I really don't think she did. Utah here. Utah is a weird state. It's basically a theocratic state influenced directly and indirectly by the predominant religion. Interesting, Utah was selected as the state to neutralize CK. I've heard that it's a big like open air CIA operation, the whole state. More than just like having a CIA training school where Charlie Kirk was shot. More than that. Like there's like the whole state is just an open air CIA operation. I've heard that. That it used to be California, now it's Utah. Frangible allows them to explain lack of exit wound and then avoid ballistics match. Frangible allows them to explain why there's no bullet. Everybody look at Bender's comment. It's right there. This comment is valuable, which is why they've changed to frangible. They were fine with regular bullet for the last 96 days, last 95 days. In the last 2 days, it's now frangible. Interesting, huh? Interesting. Just Grandpappy's 30-06. Now we're dealing with high-tech weapon. Now we're dealing with high-tech bullets out of this 110-year-old 30-06. Guys, there was no 30-06. I hate to break it. There was no frangible round. There was no 30-06. I hate to be the one to break it to you. Libertarian Lou Rockwell posted your electrocution video. Oh, did he really? I like Lou Rockwell. You have fans there. Lou founded the Mises Institute and is on the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity Advisory Board. I'm familiar with it. Lou is in Auburn, I believe. And I went to Auburn. So I'm familiar with the area. Yeah, Ludwig von Mises. Ludwig von Mises. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks, Lou. I hope you're watching now. Thanks for all you guys do. I mean, Mises Institute is hardcore economics. That's not like economics for putzes. That's like economics for the big brain people. No texts was wordplay by Erika to cover Signal Telegram chat. Likewise, they gave Mikey's phone log, not who he was on Signal Telegram call with during event. Great call. Great point, Bender. Man, that's a good one. Here's his call log. He wasn't on the phone with anyone. Yeah, well, maybe. Let's see his Instagram. Let's see his Facebook. Let's see his Signal. Let's see his Wicker. Is Wicker still a thing? That was huge back in the day. That's how we used to plan all the nefarious things we did. Let's see. Politically nefarious, not like evil, not diabolical. Was what Erika established in her meeting with Candace is that she's willing to throw everyone else under the bus in order to save herself. Those working at TPUSA owe her nothing. That's one way to look at it. I hadn't considered that. That's a thought. That's a way to look at it. Breaking. Someone made a banger EDM edit of Erika's Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's Home. that was kind of rhythmic. Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's Home. Yeah, it was very boom, 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 boom. Much more rhythm than this Germanic descendant has in his blood. I can assure you. Daddy's Home. Look it up on YouTube. Creators Peter something. You'll find it. You're welcome. Necessary in these dark times. I would play it, but YouTube's really weird about playing stuff. They get all freaked out about it. I had to cut one time a 5 minutes out of a Rob McCoy thing I did because it got a complaint. People are weird. People are weird. Idea. Erika Kirk involved with Yair Netanyahu, who follows her for meetups on the Egyptian jets. That's why she vehemently denied ever being on those planes when no one says she was. Maybe CK had figured it out. Alpaca? That's a really interesting take. I don't necessarily buy it, but if I'm writing fanfic, that's dope. That's dope. Yes, I'm buying it. Just because it's awesome. I'm buying it. You know, Alpaca said she's involved with Yair. Is it Yair or Yair? I'm pulling this up because I don't know that Erika's OBGYN died. And I don't know why people are saying that. If you send me a link to it, all I've heard are like people saying it. And when I've asked for links, people send some random X post. I'm talking about a news article. I want to know bit. And then I want to know how you know that doc is her, because that's an intimate setting there. How do you know that's her doctor? Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Hey, Bucks. Man, I'm going to be loaded if I ever go to Australia. Your humor and mannerisms remind me of Tim Dillon. This is a compliment, of course. Sending best wishes from down under. That's a huge compliment. Tim Dillon is a goat. He is funny. If TR is convicted on what is only in the docs, then it should show people that they can jail you for anything. Convict you in the media first, in the courtroom, regardless of evidence. Scary. You know, a lot of jurors go into the jury when they're sworn in, and they believe that the government wouldn't have charged you if you weren't guilty. And why would they think that? Because every time someone is charged, everybody rushes to call them guilty. Like, they have nothing. Like TPUSA and all these people have nothing on Tyler Robinson that's not in the affidavit, but they're acting like it's just a mountain of evidence. It's not. It's really not a mountain of evidence. This is interesting. Let's say Vance and KP were on a flight together. Would it not likely be a Sam 000? It would probably. I don't know where Kash Patel was that day. I don't know where they were. Neff, Kolvet, and McCoy's, Rob and Mikey, aren't on TPUSA website. Erika Kirk is saying Rob McCoy isn't actually an employee. Yeah, we covered that. Thank you, Panda Osa. Is that true for the others listed above, too? Why aren't these front-facing people not actual employees? I don't know. Don't know the answer to that. God bless you and your family. Thank you for the truth garden digging on Charlie Kirk assassination. Patricia, I'm trying. I'm trying my best here. I'm pushing, I'm shoving, I'm fighting, I'm clawing, I'm grabbing. Like, I'm doing everything I can to try to get to the bottom of this. Everything I can. And I don't know. I can only do so much. Read on Project Constitution. Terrell Farnsworth's cousin is a lawyer on Tyler Robinson defense team. Well, if that can be proven, that's devastating to the idea of fairness. You know, I do believe that. If that can be proven, that's just devastating. Thank you. Epstein neutralized Charlie Kirk. Wouldn't that be the irony of ironies? Epstein lived. He's the one that ordered the hit on Charlie Kirk. Oh, the irony. I don't think so. I don't think that's accurate. But that every now and then you guys crack me up. Hi, Baron, sent you an email regarding the crypto scheme. Yes, that's what I was referencing, that funded the assassination with $90 billion. I provided a lot of detail. It's a forensic analysis, but you didn't provide any links. So now I have to go run all that down. So know your PSYOP. If you would email me back, because I did read it, and it was fascinating. I read every word. But I've got to have some way to check it. You didn't link to the ledger. I need to be able to double check all that before I can run with it. And I don't have the time to sit down and go find it all. Frankly, it was read like a thriller. Like it read like a John Wick movie. I followed Dan faithfully on Rumble. When he announced he was joining the FBI, my immediate comment to him was, they want you to shut up. Not a bad take. Not a bad take. Canuck Bucks, mark my words, Candace knows Erika's lying. You are bang on with Frank Turek. Ooh, interesting choice of words there. The police let him keep the necklace, huh? Shouldn't that be evidence? Go Max Barron. I'm telling you, man, that Frank Turek thing was so shady. I went back to the van and the necklace is just laying right there. It was just laying right over my bag. You know, the FBI had to see it. That means the necklace is fine. There's nothing wrong with the necklace. Don't look at the necklace. Don't ask any more questions about the necklace. Necklace is fine. Everybody, and Erika even held up the necklace. I mean, she wouldn't have held up a necklace if there's something wrong with the necklace. Necklace. Maybe Mikey had an AED in his backpack. If electrocution false flag, he could have shocked restart. I doubt it. Only because those are heavy and his backpack looked like it didn't have much in it. Thank you, Derp. Love your hoodies, especially the mauve one. Ooh, that's my first comment I've gotten on my bean paste hoodie. You're reading your super chats is the best part of the show because we get to interact with you. Again, thanks for all you do. Patiently waiting for the collab with Candace. Go Max. Yes, honestly, it's my favorite part of the show. It would be greedy, I think, if I just opened up and didn't produce a show and just start talking to you people. But I love this. Like, getting to talk to people, this is great. This is fantastic. I don't talk to people much at work. Love what you said to Andrew and love your show. Already biting my nails for tomorrow. A humidifier will be helpful for the dry nose. It will, but look, I thought about this a few years ago. I actually have a humidifier. Now you're making me itch my nose now that you said that. You can hear it. Here's the problem with the humidifier. You got to clean it. Like, they don't just run forever. And I'm pretty lazy. So I don't even want to break it apart and put it in the dishwasher. And maybe if I could buy a new humidifier like every 4 days, not have to run that thing through the dishwasher, that'd be better. They do work. They work wonders. And you'd figure, well, I don't want to give too much away, but you'd figure as a person in my condition, I would have a humidifier, but I don't. Thank you to your wife and children. God bless you and your family. Thank you. Truth is beauty. That's very, very kind. Very, very kind. Frank Turek interview with Megyn Kelly showed on Candace. FBI was looking for the necklace. Why do they need it? How did they know he had it? He said everyone was looking for the necklace. Later, I think they said Erika was looking for the necklace. Regardless, the FBI searching the van, and then you just happen, or the SUV, and you just happen to have the necklace just laying right out in the open. I'm not buying it. I think they're all liars. Baron, please read. I'm reading. Lily Rab, I sent you an email explaining how I followed a rabbit hole off a video Ian shared and found someone that AI matched to Lance Twiggs using forensic facial analysis. Did you get it? I did. Love your show. Super fan here. I did. And then I actually did a really deep dive on that person because it looked like him, admittedly. I think it's just a doppelganger. I found footage of that guy as like a 15-year-old posting on Facebook. So he'd been around a while, and his name was not Lance Twiggs, and he doesn't look like Lance Twiggs did back then. And the pictures are date stamped on Facebook. So I think it would be, I don't think it's him. What are you talking about? Why are you yelling at me? Did you see him hitting his neck and head did you see his neck and head hit the equipment box? No. Massey MTG ticket 2028. I wouldn't vote for that. Thomas Massey's not my kind of conservative. He's right on a few issues, foreign policy being one of them, but he's not my idea of a good conservative. Like, that's not who I'm wanting to vote for. And I'm not a one-issue voter. Like, I look at the body of evidence and I make a decision. MTG I like quite a lot. Maybe if you reverse the ticket, an MTG Massey ticket, and we call it like bulls in a China shop. Just wrecking everybody. The reason Dan Flood was on the opposite side of Charlie was because he knew the direction the projectile was going to come from. Makes sense. I think it's probably more likely that was a line of sight that was important. Brian Harpole was on that side. And the soundboard was on the other side. And the shady photographer was on the other side. So I think you're close to my thinking on that. No lawyers at the meeting. She said Erika was called to verify. She said Erika's was called to verify that they were basing belief of official narrative on. Watch her Pierce interview. She's still going, Max. Glad to see you are too. I don't know what Pierce interview you're talking about, but I have not lost faith in Candace. I know a lot of you. I read her comments. I read the comments on her Instagram thing. I understand there's visible frustration. You guys have felt lied to for 97 consecutive days, and you expected Candace to come out of the meeting, with a bloodied baseball bat and say, "Look, I finally got her," and that's not going to happen. Like that's not what happens. We have to continue to judge everything by their body of work. Now, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks goes by, and Candace is trying to shape the narrative. we'll see. But I don't know that that's the case, right? I don't know that that's the case. I sure do love your show. Thank you, Dee Dee. I feel like you're going to be the biggest podcaster ever. Probably not. There's some really big ones out there. You make me cry, laugh, giggle, get angry, etc. Absolutely love the show. Always look forward to your next show. Thank you, Baron. Thank you, Dee Dee. Very kind. I got to get a lot of the technical stuff worked out before I'm even remotely considered that. I can't have half the chat saying that my voice doesn't match my lips, which I heard. I was reading that. And I can fix that. I've got some fixes coming. I got part 1 of the fix today. Part 2 is coming within the week. Hopefully by the Sunday show, you guys will have the highest quality of audio and video you've ever had. Keep up the great work. You're my new fave. I'll watch the whole episode while I'm at work. Well, thank you. All these calls happen within a minute. They can be verified by videos. Mikey was way out in the distance by the time Charlie was put in the car. It happened fast. You can clock Mikey walking away on video. That's correct, and I've done that. I've dropped a clock on him. Do you see the damage to his cross? Great work. Enjoy watching you. I did. When she holds it up out of the car window, as we're looking at her, it's on that side. Is missing part of one of the... I did. Wasn't lost on me. Also not lost on me that you can't see a St. Michael medal when she holds it up. Also not lost on me that a fairly respectable bench jeweler could make an identical of everything that was on that, including the chain. I mean, that wasn't lost on me either. But yeah, I saw that. I definitely noticed that. It could have been a figment of, it could have been an artifact on the photo. It could have been the figment of the light, hitting it weird. We keep watching you because we love your show, your laugh, and amateur hour. Oh, thank you. I'm amateur hour. Great. Just what everyone wants to be known for. That's what everybody just lining up to be amateur hour over here. That's what we want to be called. Thank you. Ooh, now this is a good one. Crazy to think the guy who really did it is probably watching all these podcasts. Yeah. And probably telling Erika Kirk to say stop and fly to Nashville when things get over the target. That would be my guess. Candace's source likely did not examine his hands. Why would they think to? She also needs to see the broken ring photo. That explains a lot. She's dismissing it too quickly. I don't know what she's looked into. She did say a photo or an angle, and there are 3 different angles that I looked at. Some of them, it's not a figment of the light. It's just not. And again, you have to explain why the ring stops in mid-fall from his ring finger to his pinky finger. That was a key. I mean, originally people thought it was AI because the ring switched fingers. They were like, look, it switches fingers. No, but then like, oh, the ring broke open from underneath. It broke open and then it fell. People miss the fact that it actually stopped for a period of time. Go back and watch the video. It stops. Candace should have had you in the meeting with Erika Kirk in place of her bad attitude cousin. I'm sure I can't remember her name, but I'm sure the bad attitude cousin did fine. You could have brought the attitude and the receipts. Yeah. She doesn't know me and doesn't know what I'm capable. Like, she might think I'm a nutcase. She doesn't want me in the room. Did you see the damages to his cross? Yes. Looks like part of it broke off completely in the photo, Erika holding it out of the car window. Yeah, let me show you guys what we're talking about since 2 of you have mentioned it. We'll show this here if we can find it quickly. I don't want to waste a bunch of time on this, but let's find a good high quality image of it. Why are they all low budget images? Where's the good one? Why are these all lousy images? Yeah, so this is kind of it. I'll find a better image before tomorrow, and hopefully we can come back to this. But this is what people are talking about. So if you look here, you'll notice on the right-hand side the fullness of the cross here, And if you look on the left-hand side, the cross is missing half of it. Now, it could be that there's something hanging off this chain that hangs over that cross, and that's what's creating that dark thing. But if you'll notice, it looks like the same kind of shadow that's up here behind this. And again, I was under the impression there were two religious medals. There was a St. Michael medal, and there was some other kind of circular medal. And I don't see all that there. But that cross, to me, again, this is just me spitballing here. Oh, here, this will be better. That cross looks damaged to me. But I don't know. I mean, it would be let me just state the obvious. Let's assume, for the sake of an argument, there was an explosion under his shirt. Let's just assume that. And I'm not saying there was. I'm not saying there wasn't. I'm just, look, part of investigating, you got to run down all the little rabbit holes. Would it have caused damage to his necklace? Maybe. I mean, it looked to me like the necklace went, it's hard for me to do it in a sweatshirt here, but it looks to me like the necklace came all the way up under his shirt into his neck. Something propelled it up there. And when it does, the necklace comes up and there's slack on the chain. Let's assume this is his necklace. It looks like this. So the necklace is in his neck and there's slack in that chain, meaning it's not being pulled from behind up to his neck. It is self-propelled somehow. That's all on that's all in pictures. You can't argue with that. That is true. That is true. Love your channel. Just wanted to point out that medical intervention could be of some of the hand discoloration, IV access points, defibrillator, etc. Ma'am, they had him under the table for 16 seconds. There was no medical intervention to his hands. There was no medical intervention to anything. They literally picked him up and ran off. I could play that video if you want me to. For anyone who's wondering what I'm talking, I mean, this happened so fast. I'm gonna play it because I think a lot of you, I don't think, have seen this video in a while, and you lose sight of the fact of just how fast this happened. There was no medical intervention under this table. There's no medical intervention. All they did was pick him up. They can tell you all they want about how, we tried to stem the blood. Oh, there was the taste of Charlie's blood. No, lying. Lying. There was no medical intervention under that tent. You're just lying. So I don't want to hear that. Where were we? I was beyond disappointed in Candace's performance last night. Complete letdown to her followers, walking everything back last night. Erika Kirk and TPUSA, all pathological liars. Your logical, insane commentary appreciated. Again, I'm going to do what I do, and other people are going to do what they do. They're obviously way more wildly successful than I am, so they're doing something right, and they've earned a great deal of trust. And I think, we judge people accordingly. And, that's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you for the compliment, though, and thank you for the generous donation. Blake Neff, after he finished the call with his mom, put that phone away. How many phones does he have? Good question. Good question. K9 that the cops used to find the weapon's name was Freya. Oh, really? Freya is the Norse goddess of war, death, magic, and sorcery. Freya famously wore a necklace called Brisingame. Why do you know so much about this? It's creepy. Burial of Charlie on the Mount of Olives. Hadn't considered that, but would be weird. Would definitely be weird to bury an American there, but I mean, American Christian, that would be a little weird, but maybe not unprecedented. Baron, bring the heat, Coleman. We love Bad Cop. Thank you. I like Bad Cop myself a little bit. I'm rushing through because I do try to hold this to a decent time. Should not Cash recuse himself from any part of this investigation since his superstar country singer girlfriend is a member of TPUSA? I don't know what she is. If we're going to say Rob McCoy's not affiliated with TPUSA, how can we say she is? Like, he's still on their website saying he founded TPUSA Faith. And they're like, no, Rob, he's just some rando. I don't know why he talks like that. What a weirdo. Baron, look at Charles' pics at his necklace. Frank said cross and medallions. The points look huge under his shirt that day compared to other talks he gave. Erika had the necklace the night before. I have noticed Erika had the necklace the night before. I have looked at Charles McClintock's photos of the necklace. I have not compared it to pictures of his necklace on other days, but I would think if Charlie grabbed the necklace and it was a different necklace or had different medallions, he'd have gone, what is this? Why, this isn't my necklace. Where's my necklace? So, Charlie's ring was brass, strong magnetic field, such as a high current running through a mic wire, and from the mic casing itself would probably eddy currents to the ring, making it levitate. I just wondered why it did that. Like, I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm not an electrician. You know more about it than I do, obviously, sniper. But I know gravity. Like, I have fallen down. I have dropped stuff. Like, if I pick this up and I drop it, like, say this is a ring and it's on my hand. Oh, let's try it again. In 2 out of 3, best 2 out of 3. Let's see if it sticks to my pinky. Oh, nope. All right, 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. I got the ring. Oh, dang it. No. They play 7 in the World Series. Last chance. The best of 7. We're 3-0. No, it falls every time. Gravity's undefeated. Well, except for Charlie Kirk's ring that day. That's the only time it's defeated. The effort in trying to separate Erika from the narrative is extremely suspicious. I don't find her to be honest. Justin Strife was definitely in the room with them. She said last night he facilitated their conversation. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Pam. Wouldn't you think Candace would go unhinged on Erika Kirk after verifying that text from Charlie one day prior, fearing his life was legitimate? How does Erika Kirk explain her ignorance on that one? How do they remain credible with anything after that finding? You and me both, Patrick. This is my shocked face. You and me both. That's all I can give you is a shock face. Thank you for the donation. Very generous, Patrick. Thank you. Maryland G-Cell. You have saved Candace Owens' podcast. People were saying they were going to unsubscribe. People need to forget what this is all about. It's for Charlie. Why would you unsubscribe over one podcast? That's silly. Wait and hear what she has to say. Let her prove herself over the next several episodes and see, is she the same, Candace she's always been? If so, then let's stick with her. Baron, this is for your viewers. I asked my coworker to follow up with the search, and she told me she will let me know when he texts her back. Brandy and Billy, this is big news. You guys need to follow them. Brandy and Billy Show on YouTube. Go give them a subscribe. Erika trying to reframe the pro-Israeli narrative makes me believe she was Charlie Kirk's handler, especially since they met in Israel. The whole TPUSA falling in love with Israel after Charlie dies and after saying you guys fit all the stereotypes and you're leaving me with no choice but to leave the pro-Israeli cause, it's a little weird. Like if among boys, just us boys, it's weird. They're really, really weird. Presidential attempt was faked. 223 projectile carries with it 60 to 80 pounds of pressure wave within 1 inch of the bullet. Even if it missed, it would have broken small bones in his eardrum and caused vertigo. Plain physics. I don't know that. I don't know any of that. I don't know the physics of it. I don't know that it was faked. If it was faked and they killed Corey Contemporary or whatever his name is, that's just cruel. But I do think other public shootings have been faked. You become one of the most loved and respected creators on YouTube. Your opening monologues are so on point. You should be the one heading up this investigation. I'm just playing a role, Leonidas. I'm just playing the role that you guys allow me to play. As long as you'll have me, I'll be here. Why would Tyler engrave frangible bullets? They would disintegrate. So what's the point? Clearly just more lies. I think he was framing the shells. You know, like a bullet has a shell. Like there's a shell and then there's a little bullet that sticks out of it. I don't think he was engraving the actual bullet, or they wouldn't have known what the fired spent casing said. I think it was the casing. Hey, Liberty Lockdown said he emailed you 2 times. Said you're getting too big. You're not reading your emails. Love the first show I watched of his, and he mentioned you. Stay tuned. We've talked. Stay tuned. So who's the other person that Mikey called right after the shooting? Candace said wasn't relative, so maybe she wasn't naming them. Seems if he was being called right after, it'd be relevant. Justin Strife, maybe? I didn't consider him, but I think it's relevant. Like, if you're calling someone within 10 minutes of that, I'm kind of curious who it was. No one has talked about burn smell of hair and skin. That's outdoor. I mean, yeah, agreed. That's a data point. And it does tend to undermine the electrocution theory. I'm not so married to it that I'm like dismissive of everything that undermines it. I'm not married to it at all. I am raising the issue because I think it deserves to be evaluated to the fullest. And I think it's a logical explanation that, at least on what I know, seems to have some merit. So it needs to be investigated. But yeah, what you're raising a point that would undermine it. And that's an honest way to evaluate it. Let's look at both sides. Let's not only look for confirmation bias. How's the SUV that Charlie Kirk was driven to the hospital in not preserved as evidence for trial and defense? What do you think of the white RAV4 pulled over at UVU with FBI agent driving and UTPD let him go? So let's take those in order. I don't know that the car is evidence. I think it's a little weird that it was quickly scuttled. You mean, if Candace's show is right today, and I have no reason to doubt it is, then they detailed the car shortly after the shooting and put it up for auction and sold it. Now that's weird. Like, that's really fast. But at the same time, if you're running a business, like, I'm looking at both sides of this. If you're running a business, you're like, well, we don't want to put that car back into the fleet, into service. Like, it's a rental car. We don't want to put it back into the fleet of serviceable vehicles. What do you want to do with it? Well, clean it and sell it. I mean, it's a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car. It's an asset sitting there. Get rid of it. If you sell it to someone you got to kind of explain Charlie Kirk died in that car, and that, but if you just throw it up for auction, you don't have to explain anything. So I see why they did it. I don't see why they did it. What do I think about the RAV4? Totally shady. If the story's right, it just proves everything we've been saying. I mean, it just goes to prove it. George Webb was on Didi today. I like Didi. And George is fine too. I like George. He stated that Justin called DuPont at hospital. Very sus. Also, I'm in North Carolina and thought that court-appointed attorneys only got paid if you're found guilty. No, that's not true. That would be so unconstitutional. Yeah. I don't know who Justin called at the hospital. If that's true, super shady. I don't know. Did George say how he met that? How he knew that? But yeah, the only get paid if you're found guilty. That's not true. I mean, I've been a court-appointed lawyer. You get, when I was early in my career, I took cases. You get paid no matter what. Yay, good job, everybody. We're getting the hang of it. Yes, 8.2 thousand likes. Is that true? That's a lot. Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I gotta get with the winners. I got to get with the winners. I got sent an email about OBGYN a long time ago. YouTube vid of Erika and CK doing interview about OB death removed also. Ooh. Ask Google is how I found it. Hope all is well. Is that true? That's crazy. Why didn't Candace mention anything about the autopsy? She did ask Erika Kirk about it. That's something that would eliminate a lot of mystery. Love your show, Baron. Why didn't Candace mention anything about the autopsy? What would she have asked? I mean, I guess she could have asked, did the autopsy happen? And she could have asked, did the autopsy show a bullet? But I mean, what's Erika going to get up there and be like, no, it showed he was electrocuted. No, it showed he had a blast on his chest that stopped his heart. No, it showed, I mean, I get your point, Christina. I really genuinely get your point. But at the same time, like it's, you know, you only have so much time. Electrocution can cause carotid artery to rupture, which can produce an exit wound and cause spurt. No bullet needed. Free online search. I've done some searching. I'm not prepared or qualified to talk about the flow of electricity through the body. Other people can and are evaluating that. I am qualified to look at pictures of hands, and I did. I didn't see now, like if they want to exhume his body and show me pictures of his hands and show me that they're not damaged, I'll change my mind. If they want to show me autopsy photos of the hands and we can evaluate them to see that they were not photoshopped, then the hands look normal, then I will, like, I'm willing to entertain any evidence that supports or diminishes anything I raise. Blue cheer. Thank you. I've still never got an explanation for what that horse is in your picture there. Erika's an opportunist who do anything for an opportunity, including start a family. Electrical burns are often pink, shiny, raw, not charred. His necklace survived from where he popped off. How necklace survived from where popped off to truck. Yeah, when I say charred, the picture on Charles McClintock Wilson's website, they are pink, shiny, and raw. Like, do you want me to? I got a strike. I didn't get a strike, but I had to argue with YouTube last time I showed that picture. So I don't want to show it again. I stayed up till 3 a.m. arguing with them about it, and I don't want to go through that again. But listen, that hand was not supposed to be injured. YouTube's algorithm identified it as a morbid, gross picture, flagged it, and tried to take my video down. I haven't shared that, but I had to argue with them for like 4 hours after I got off air to keep that video up. And so you can tell me the hands are fine all you want. YouTube's algorithm disagreed. Like my wife was pissed because I didn't come to bed because I was fighting to keep that episode up. I did not want to have to. I was offered the opportunity to trim those pictures. I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, this is a scientific evaluation into whether or not those hands are injured. There are people who are saying the hands are not injured. You guys seem to agree they are. Thus, there's a debate. Can we please leave it up so people can evaluate it? If you want to see it, go back to the other episode. The first one where I think I'm wearing a green hoodie and I say, does this electrocute the Fed slap narrative? That's the one where I show the pictures. That's the one. It took me hours fighting with YouTube to keep that up because they thought the hands looked terrible. I didn't show anything else. They specifically were arguing with me about the hands. If it was an electrocution, the necklace would have been damaged, most significant being sterling silver. Again, I can't comment on the flow of electricity. I'm not smart enough. I just raised the issue and let other people debate it. Makes me wonder if Trump is in Charlie's situation with security. Trump took Israeli money. The biggest donor, actually. Charlie, however, didn't. What do you mean Charlie didn't take Israeli money? What are you talking about? Charlie may have taken more than Trump, and Trump took $250 million. Y'all don't know about Charlie's business deals on the side. Land deals, house deals. Y'all don't know about all that. Not everything that Charlie and Erika got came through TPUSA. Keep that in mind. Charlie took a lot of money. A lot of money. Baron, thanks for your work. You also used another Carnegie strategy, I think. If you want a bad dog, give it a bad name. You assigned attributes to Andrew and Blake, which they could live up to. Thank you. Thank you. He's referencing this book. Read it. If you've never read it, read it. It'll change the way you interact with people. Change the way you argue with people. Change the way you think about people and the way they're acting. Did you have a chance to read my theory about that? Maybe the planes were Erika's covert security team because she's a high-level operative who knows too much. Maybe Charlie figured out she was his handler. I'm not settled on the planes. Like I am following Candace on the planes. Like I am with her. I've investigated. I've looked into them. I found, I think, 7 planes that other people weren't tracking. I think we were looking at 2 or 3, and I think I found a total of 7 to 9 or something planes, Egyptian planes in the U.S. at that time that seemed to be following very similar patterns. So you can't say I'm not invested in the planes, but I do not have an opinion on what the planes were doing here. I can just identify that they were, in fact, here, and they were all over the place. Thank you for the donation. Wow, Deb, thank you. Very generous. Go buy a humidifier now. Consider it a Christmas gift. I have a theory that I'd like to run by you. I sent an email. Love your input. Thank you, Deb. I will check it out. And I'll look into another humidifier. I'll look into another one. Hey, neighbor, Franklin here. Love your show. Can you enable the replay captions for those of us with hearing impairments? I can. I don't have my hearing aids here with me because I'm on the air. I was going to show you mine. No, they're in my bedroom. Yeah, I too wear hearing aids. I too have trouble with them. I think you may have emailed me and I responded to you. Tried to be loving. I cannot afford to pay for someone to caption this as I go. I'm just not in that position. Those are expensive. It's an expensive service. I enable every caption option YouTube gives me. I am sensitive to hearing impaired people. If they're not doing something that they're doing for other people for free, then I will check into it. But if other people are paying for an independent caption service, I can't do that. I can't afford that. So maybe if the show gets bigger, maybe if we double, triple in size, that's something I will do every episode. I'll have someone watch it and caption it live. I do enable captions once it's transcribed. So that happens over the course of a couple of hours after the show goes up. But on a live basis, I just do not have the resources to pay someone to sit there and caption it. But thank you. And, Franklin was my high school rival when I grew up. The Brentwood-Franklin game was huge every year, back when there were very few high schools in this area. Now there's a zillion of them. Place has changed a lot. Did the necklace have rare type of metal used for body movement tracking and precursor positioning? Could it split from electromagnetic pulse directed at the medallion? This is a theory I saw next. I feel like I fell into a time warp there. I don't know. I mean, I know some of those words. Like I recognize that some of those words are English. Some of them. Please tell about what you don't align with on Massey. I'm so curious. I love him so much. Please inform me if you know more about him that I might not be aware of. Also, sorry if you covered, but St. Michael assists people at the hour of death. Well, I'm not aware. Like my wife and I say the St. Michael prayer every night before we go to bed. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl throughout the world seeking the ruin of souls. I'm not familiar with the assist people at the hour of their death. I am familiar with the Hail Mary that says something similar at the end. I won't say that lest the Protestants start seizing on me. I don't want that to happen. As far as what I don't align with Massey on, I don't want to get into that right now. I've tried to stay pretty politically neutral on while I'm covering this particular article. Down the road, I may get into more of my own personal politics, but I've tried to remain pretty politically neutral while I'm covering this in particular. Great work. I'm definitely learn more from your channel. I send super chat because you were worth watching. Go Max, aloha from VA, and yes, originally from Hawaii. Hope, I wondered the other day when you said aloha if you were originally from Hawaii. So I'm glad you clarified that. From Andrew's tweet, it appears he also spoke with the coroner who found the bullet. Talking about the one that was searched in. Oh, sorry. The one that the Google Trends. Oh, sorry. Talking about Deidre Amaro. Was she the coroner? The medical examiner? She's something out there. I don't know about her. I'm iffy on her. Super sticker, thank you. Mexican pesos. Why be vague when many critics clearly didn't fully watch the CO show? CO did not betray Charlie. I agree. She says explicitly we should keep asking questions. Agree. And challenges the mainstream narrative. Agree. Like I understand people were frustrated, but I think they were frustrated because they expected her to come out like what was that lady that used to oh gosh. You know what I'm talking about? She wore like the leather chaps and Xena, the warrior princess. Like y'all were wanting Candace, the warrior princess. You remember Xena? She was a thing when I was younger. Yeah, Xena, the warrior princess. Y'all expected Xena. And look, I mean, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. Would a gun not cause Charlie Kirk to fall to the ground? It's obvious he was pushed out of his chair. So sad. I can't say for certain what a gun would do. I would think a gun would have caused him to like if a gun wound to the neck, I think would have immediately caused him to slump over. It would not have caused him to seize up. I've talked to too many medical professionals about this. Like this is a key point of this story to me. Do I have something I can squeeze? He seized up, and then then it fell out of his hand. It's not a spinal injury, guys. It's not a thing. That's what I've been told by medical professionals. I was new to the seize up game. I've been very new to the seize up game, but I was told that. Thank you for the super sticker. Curious to see Mikey's wife's call log. Ooh. Me too. Now it's getting good. What if they're freaks? Oh, I mean, we're talking about the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, she might have been calling someone else. Yeah. We're mad because Candace talked for 4.5 hours and hasn't answered one single question. We've all had. Insulting the BS Mikey call log. She wouldn't buy that BS. I think either Charlie Kirk impersonator or if Charlie Kirk was there, told a lie. I don't think Charlie Kirk is alive. I don't think he's alive. But I might be up to 6%. I was at 5, but I might be up to 6. Only because, yeah, gosh. One day I'm just going to tell you what I think. I bet Charlie wore a hinge ring and it had come unclasped. Yeah, they're for men with big knuckles. Well, you know what to say about a man with big knuckles, right? Big gloves. If it was a fatal current, the skin on his hands would be black and peeled back. I've seen it as an EMT. That's good. It's a good data point. That's a good data point. I've talked to other people who work in burn units and emergency rooms that suggest the red shiny burns are consistent with a quick electrical current running through his body. So I don't know. I think it needs to be examined. I would love to see the pictures of his hands, like autopsy pictures of his hands, not just Charles McClintock Wilson's pictures and not just the pictures from the people who had videos from different angles. I'm talking about, I want to see the actual pictures of his hand. And that would lend a lot of credibility to me, but thank you. Yeah. The hinge ring, it's not about the ring coming undone. That's not what freaks me out. It's the fact that it stops. Again, you got to see the video of, I don't want to show it here. Again, I'm not fighting with you. I'm too tired to fight with YouTube tonight. But yeah, I want to know why it stops. I want to know why it stops. Why was Tom Artyom Alexandrovich allowed to return home after being in the U.S. for child predation? That's a great question. He went back to Israel. That's a great question. Yeah, again, it's not the fiddling with the ring. It's not coming undone. It's the fact that the gravity didn't take it to the ground. It came out and then it stopped in midair. That's what bothers me. If the winners don't respond or don't want to fill out tax form, yeah, I'm going to give this money away. I will continue redrawing on that same thing over and over and over. We're giving the money away. I've got to find somebody willing to fill out a W-9 and prove it's them, and we will. We will. Baron, there's clearly a guy, plaid shirt, that jumps over the front table when Charlie Kirk went down. That is Rick Cutler. Oh, no, that wasn't Rick Cutler. And Brian Harpole handed him something. He was right behind the tent. Where's the 100,000 YouTube plaque going on the wall? Oh, yeah, I can apply for that. I don't know. I'll put it somewhere. Maybe I'll put it. There's a hole there. Maybe I'll put it there. I had another one there, and I didn't like that person anymore, so I took it down. It was a certificate I took down. So there's a hole. There's an opening ready to go. Plaid shirt jumps over the wall, runs off. I think it's the guy, if we're watching Charlie Kirk and he's facing us, I think it's the guy you're talking about is directly to the right. Yeah, there was a lot going on back there, and none of it was attempting to save his life. I'll say that. In my opinion. Do any pictures show Charlie's necklace on the way to the SUV? Only the strand. Only the strand, not the charms. Not that I found. If you have any, let me know, Major. If you have any, let me know. Do people not remember the saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? Candace is smarter than y'all think. Yeah, don't give up on Candace, guys. Come on. She's brought us this far. If you're going to give up on her weeks or months from now when she like, you know what I mean? Like, waiting to see. You can't do that to somebody after one episode. There's nobody been fighting harder in this fight. Nobody. Like, this is the hardest anybody's fought for Charlie Kirk. She's examined everything that's been suspicious she's brought up. Have they all been right? I don't know. Probably not, because that's human nature. That's the way investigations work. You run down a rabbit trail and you go, okay, there's nothing to that. But to unfollow someone or unsubscribe just based because you're upset with the way one meeting went, I mean, I understand you're upset, but let's take a step back. Let's cool off. Stay on the same team here. Let's look and see how it goes. Let's see what happened. Let's see how she investigates this on a forward-going basis, and let's make an independent determination. I think she'll probably come through because she's been pretty solid all the way up until now. So why would she be any different? Candace is very calculating and knows how to overhang her market. Keep us wanting for more. That's a fair summary there. That's a fair summary. Andrew, if you're still listening, I know you were listening earlier, but if you're still listening, you still have time. Repent. Andrew, repent. The end is near. You don't want to go out this way. Go to confession and then leave. I'm telling you, it's the way to do it. Guys, this has been fun. We're 3.5 hours. I got to go to bed. It's 9:30 Central Time. I got to go to bed. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I think Blake Bednarz is going to join me. We've got a dynamite program if he does. If he can join me. And I think he said he can. If he can, it's a dynamite program. You're not going to want to miss it. Like, set your alarm. It'll either be at 6 or 7. So I don't know. Yes, you can. Set 2 alarms. 6 and 7 Central Time. It'll be at one of those two. And I'll send it out like I usually do, 4 or 5 hours ahead of time. Give you plenty of time to prepare. Dynamite show. You are going to learn things and see things that that you've never seen before. And you're going to go, what the hell is that? What are they doing? It's a good question. Good question. I'm not going to give you any more hints than that. Not any more hints, but it's pretty wild. Pretty doggone wild. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening. Get some sleep. Love one another. And y'all don't give up on people in one day. Don't do that. That's too internet for me. Let's be human. Let's be civil and human. So love you guys. I'll see you soon.